All right, I think we're live. Or not really
Yay.
live. We're not live. Because live would be if we were broadcasting this directly to people like right now. And we're definitely not doing that.
No, this is hashtag pre-recorded.
You betcha. Feels like it's been
Though
so
unedited.
long. True. Yes, this is raw footage.
Well, it's not footage either, because we're not using video.
You know, you are just being exactly like me when I'm being difficult.
You're reminding me of me, and I don't like it. Stop.
Oh, the masters. We have to address the elephant in the room.
Which one?
Well, the one that rhymes with the heffalumps and woozles. The first first things first.
Are you proud of yourself for that one?
Not really, no. um, not, or at least, yeah. Let's just go with no. But so you were in Disney World.
Technically, yes.
Okay. Can you give us a rundown of why you thought it was okay to just abandon me in my hour of need?
Because I promised my mother I would.
And how did that go for you?
It went.
It went?
Yes. This probably will be my last family vacation ever.
That's a strong statement.
Okay, so let me clarify. That will be the last time that I stay in the exact same place as them.
Okay.
I may still go when they go, but I will have my own room.
That is probably a very good idea. I mean, I'm biased, and our mutual flugelhorning, I guess, at night. I should probably never mind. Our mutual snoring at night. I'm like, wait a second, that could be taken a lot of really wrong ways.
Yeah, it really could.
Okay, so our mutual snoring at night probably didn't, really endear each other one to each other, but it seemed to work out pretty well overall. But I can definitely understand how being in a room with 6, was it?
Well, I was in a room with one other person. However, I was in a house with 13 other people.
Mm-hmm.
And 8 of which were under the age of 16. And 7 of which are under the age of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Or are 10. I don't know how the 2 oldest ones are, but they're definitely 10 and under.
Were they the same ones that I met, or were they different ones?
Some of them, yes.
Okay.
My parents have gotten 2 new ones since you were with us.
I love how it just sounds like they're like collecting them like Pokemon.
Well, we're over 500 so far, so.
Man, you are almost catching up to Pokemon. Gotta catch them all.
That's probably coming through.
It is definitely coming through. What are you doing?
I was watching a stream earlier, and his stream crashed, and I didn't mute my speakers before we started, and his stream just came back up.
How dare he? He should learn how to be silent, like the good people. Anyway, so you're mentioning that it was rather warm down there.
Oh my gosh, so hot. It's actually it was colder there than it is in my apartment right now.
Is your AC broken?
No, it's just extremely hot and not able to keep up because I set it on 68 before I left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so hot outside that it can't beat it down. After tonight, it'll kind of get down. It'll be able to stay down.
Right.
But it was at 76 when I came in.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was just not great.
I know that feeling.
So
Like we were talking earlier. Haha. And You see, this is kind of the issue now that we're doing this Other Things podcast. There's a limit really to how much we can talk during the week. Not necessarily a limit per se, but like it comes up with an idea and they're like, oh man, we should talk about that on the podcast. Crap, now we can't talk about it now. This makes life difficult.
Not really. I mean, we come up with a lot of things that we could talk about.
True. And actually, I have our last couple of weeks of Discord messages pulled up just in case we need some reference material. Yeah. But yeah, that was,
Yeah, I'm ready for my AC to start chipping in. So.
Yeah,
I think it's currently 76 in here. I mean, it's a dry heat, as they say in Arizona, maybe. But it's still hot. And me turning on my computer probably didn't help.
You know what else is a dry heat?
Waiting for the punchline.
Just straight up fire. I mean, that's a dry heat. Dry heat doesn't make it any better.
that is pretty dry heat.
Yes.
You've got me there.
Uh-huh. I'm stealing that from a comedian named Jeff Dunham. But I mean
is he a comedian anymore?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, he stopped being funny years ago.
I mean, you know, he got divorced and then he got kind of bitter and then he got remarried and I think he's not quite over the bitter part. So
yeah. So I watched, well, to my knowledge, I watched his last special, and the first 90 minutes of it was just the same stuff he's always done. It's like, isn't a new special supposed to have new material?
Yep.
And then like the last 5 minutes of it was new material and it was hilarious. But it's like, I just sat through 90 minutes of crap that I've already seen for the 5 minutes of hilarity.
Maybe he was doing...
Why did you do this special?
Maybe he was doing like a greatest hits. I don't know. I haven't seen it. There's a point a couple years ago where my whole family got really into stand-up comedy, and it was right about the time where where people were hitting the tail end of a blue-collar comedy. And then we started looking for something else. And
I'll tell you, Jim Gaffigan is a riot.
He is. Jim Gaffigan was one that I tried to get the whole rest of the family involved with, and the whole rest of the family was like, no. Like,
I love Jim Gaffigan. He is freaking hilarious.
I identify with him on a spiritual level.
Exactly. I kind of, want to go over here now.
His whole bit on Hot Pockets and bacon is just unfortunately
diarrhea pockets.
Oh, it's so good. Unfortunately, that's like his first special, and I think I've only ever seen 2 of them. And every time I try and like go to watch something. Well,
he's on that 70s show.
Okay.
And he plays a depressed manager at a hotel, and it's just absolute gold all the way through.
Did you hear he is in a movie? I don't know if it's come out yet or not. And it is not a comedy. Like at all.
Really?
Yes. He plays like a mentally disturbed guy who kidnaps a kid or something. And apparently
so he plays himself.
Himself would never willingly take a kid anywhere, only by necessity and the threat of his wife. I
more meant the disturbed guy than the kidnapping.
Is this it? No, that's not it. Oh, what is this movie? It must have come out already. Above the Shadows? Is this it? Nope. Maybe? He's actually doing a lot of movies now. That's cool. I don't know. Where is this thing? I'm going to look this up, or to figure out what. It can't be that far back. Whoa.
Great.
Hey,
Entertainment we've got going on right now.
some of these things have to have answers, and I don't have the answers, and so I must learn what the answers are.
That's what you get for bringing up the question in the first place.
I know, but I thought I had the answer.
So while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about how unbelievably hungry I am right now.
Okay.
And I should not be. And I don't know if it's because I'm starving because I haven't eaten much today, or if it's because I'm craving Dr. Pepper and I don't know which the answer is. And yeah.
Why?
So I've almost drank 2 bottles of water and I've almost eaten half of a pizza, and I'm still hungry.
What? I don't understand. How are you still hungry?
I don't know. That's why I'm so confused. I think it's just me craving Dr. Pepper. Because I haven't had it in 2 days. On purpose. This was a decision I made.
Okay.
And I am already regretting it.
Have you considered that perhaps you're just, going into withdrawals, or you're bored or something?
Yes, that's what I just said.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's really weird. I found it, and it's actually from a couple years ago. It's called American Dreamer. It is. Just lost it.
You didn't know if it had come out, but it's from a couple of years ago.
It's from 2018. Movie trailers just kind of come and go into my head, and I forget if I've seen them or not. Yeah, down on his luck.
Did the quote unquote last movie Robin Williams ever actually come out?
Yes.
How have I not seen it?
The Angriest Man in New York.
I saw trailers for it right before he died.
Yeah.
And then I never heard anything else about it again. I was like, oh, I want to watch that movie so daggone bad.
I think it was just like a complete box office flop. I don't know why. And it looked like a very predictable story from the trailers and everything. But, I mean, it's the last movie.
Oh, I'm sure it's just Good Will Hunting all over again, but still.
No, it's like totally the opposite. Well, not really the opposite, but he plays like this guy who's just it's like a gray humor kind of movie where he's just the angriest guy in the world, and he ticks off his doctor, and Mila Kunis tells him that he has 24 hours to live, and then he like freaks out and tries to like change his ways and amend all the wrongs that he's done for the rest of the movie.
I think we're talking about 2 different movies.
Are we talking about 2 different movies? I thought that was the last movie he ever did. That's the one I know of. All right. Bringing up the IMDb again.
I got it right here. 2015.
Was that how long ago that was?
Yes.
Wow.
According to IMDb, the last movie he's in is Absolutely Anything.
Absolutely Anything.
Which I've never even heard of.
I've never heard of that. Dennis the Dog voice.
Nazi Museum. Merry Friggin' Christmas.
I did see that movie. It's not great.
Angriest Man in Brooklyn.
That's
probably the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I didn't see that one either. Huh.
What movie was it?
He was in The Butler? Interesting. That's cool. Need to see that movie.
Yes. This is the movie I was talking about. Boulevard.
Boulevard. Okay, Nolan Mack. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Boulevard's the one I was talking about.
Never-
I did not realize that.
Okay.
That there are 4 movies after the one I thought was the last one.
Since we're on the topic generally of movies and movie trailers,
Mm-hmm.
I am having an issue today.
Are you now?
I'm having a major issue. So I like particular actors, and so if I see an actor's going to be in a movie, I will go watch I'll go watch that movie. Right?
Same.
Normal. Well, one of my favorite actors, and he's always gets like put into like sub roles and supporting cast, and he's really really good. And I want to see him like really break out and do something amazing. The best thing he's ever done was he played the main antagonist throughout the entire series on a show called Justified. His name is Walton Goggins. Movies you may have seen him in. He was the crazy Texan that took over.
Oh yeah, I know this guy.
Yeah. Walton Goggins, super cool. He's just, I think the last like big movie that he was in, unless I'm totally mistaken, was Ant-Man and the Wasp, where he played the mob boss kind of guy who got shot with the truth serum.
No, he was in L.A. Conventional.
I didn't see that. Yeah, I don't know that movie. Like the one that everybody would have seen, not the niche film that you happened to cross on.
Yeah, okay. Ant-Man and the Wasp, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the last big one.
But he's about to be in this new movie, like the
Fat Man?
No, like the voices
John
on the
Bronco?
No.
Words on the broom walls? Bathroom walls?
That's the one. Words in the bathroom walls. And I woke up from my nap today, old man that I am, taking a nap. And
hey, I took a nap too. Of course, I had been awake for 48 hours, but that's a different subject.
Totally different subject. And so I see this little like ping on my phone from IMDb, and it's like, hey, do you want to see this trailer for Writing on the Bathroom Walls? And I'm like, no, I don't. And then it shows, who's in the film. It says Walton Goggins. I'm like, yes, I do want to see the trailer for Writing on the Bathroom Walls. And I know this is not a new idea, but I was so disappointed by the trailer. Like, so disappointed. It looks like a great movie, but because of the trailer, I don't have to watch the movie. I have seen the entire thing already in the 2-minute trailer.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely... It's 3.5 minutes, but yeah, I absolutely hate when trailers do... That's why I try to avoid trailers altogether.
But I was like, I want to... Walton Goggins in there. I want to, get a feel for it, kind of figure out what his part is. There's a 1-second flash of him in a hospital room, and that's all you see of him. And the whole rest of the movie just like plays out around in this short little clip. And it's like, I know how it begins. I know what the hook is. I know what the twist is. I know who the characters are. I know what roles they play. I know what the characters' arcs are. I know how all the different characters interact with each other. I know how they end up. Like, there is nothing left in this movie for me to figure out, except maybe why they're billing Walton Goggins so high up on the bill when he has a 1-second flash in the trailer. It's like, what? Why? Hollywood, what's wrong with you? I want to go to a movie to experience the movie. I don't want to have the whole thing, spoon-fed to me 6 months before it comes out and go, well, I guess I don't have to pay money to see your movie because I've already seen it.
Exactly. I can't remember the last one. What? Now I've got to try and think back. What was the last trailer that I felt that way about? And then I just stopped watching trailers altogether. Except for I would watch teaser trailers that would only be like 30 seconds long that really didn't show anything other than the name of the movie.
Right.
That's basically all I ever watch anymore.
Right.
Unless I don't really care about the movie, and then I might watch the whole trailer just to see if I might be interested. But that's rare too. God, what was that movie? I can't think of what it is, but like I went and watched the movie, and I came out of theaters and went, that was basically the trailer.
Yeah.
I could have saved myself $10.
I think I know that Mission Impossible has been kind of plagued like this the last couple of entries, where they just basically show the entire movie, all the big stunts, because you watch Mission Impossible so you can see Tom Cruise do something stupid, and you're like, oh yeah, it's in the trailer. Okay. The Dark Knight Rises was kind of like that, because you weren't quite sure how Batman got, at the bottom of the hole, but you definitely knew about his ascent to get out of it, how that was important from the originals, from the trailer. And so it's like, Hollywood, you are a visual medium. You need to embrace that side of yourself, and then realize that the biggest surprise comes from stuff that people have not already seen. But I mean, when you just throw it all out there, people don't know how to react. I mean, well, not that they don't know how to react to it, but I mean, they've already reacted to it by the time it shows up on the feature-length film.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, it's frustrating because I'm trying to be a active consumer. There are things that I like to partake in. There's things I like to, to be a part of. And that qualifies as one of those things I like to be a part of. I like films. I like movies. I like to be entrenched in the story. But if you just give me the whole story in this little, 2.5 minute, 3 minutes, whatever it is, long trailer, I feel less engaged with the rest of the film because my mind is already just waiting for the next story beat to hit because I've already know where the story's going. And understand, I'm not everybody's like me. Not everybody can watch, for the first 5 minutes of a movie and then pick out pretty much all the story beats just based on how certain characters are acting. It's like, okay, that guy's gonna die, that girl's gonna hook up with him, and this guy over here, he's the bad guy. He's pretending to not be, but he's definitely the bad guy. And it's just like, I just want some level of mystery for my brain to be engaged with, and we just throw it all at me. I got nothing, and then I don't want to go see your film, even if it does have one of my favorite actors in it. Yeah, I'm just frustrated, man. I'm just frustrated. And it looks like a good film. I will say that it looks like it's a great film. It looks like it's got decent effects. It's got a good story. It's touching on a decent subject. The portrayal of it is pretty good. The acting looks pretty solid. I mean, yeah, the acting looks solid. I have seen enough of the film to say that the acting looks solid. I can go ahead and give this my 4-star review right now. But
4 out of 10?
4 out of 5.
Wow, just from the trailer.
Just from the trailer. Like there is enough information and there is enough now I don't know about the interim points, but all of the main story points were presented in the trailer. And so I can see how they're acting in those moments. It's like, yeah, those look like real people. They are acting in a normal and in a convincing way. Yeah, I can say the acting in this movie looks pretty good.
What would be a great new trend that I would totally get behind?
What?
As if trailers had intentionally bad acting in them.
Why?
And then you went and watched the movie, and it was like a completely different movie.
I wouldn't say bad acting, because if people see bad acting, they're not going to go see that film. But Star Wars actually...
I don't know. You act bad enough, and people will go watch it just to make fun of it, and then they'll go see it and be like, oh wow, this is nothing like the trailer. And that could be a new thing.
Star Wars kind of did something similar with the sequel trilogy, and I'm talking about Star Wars again. But there were points in all of the trailers for each of the 3 Star Wars movies. There were scenes and things that were shown in the trailers that never made it into the movie, and that could be editing. But there's enough behind the scenes rustle and rumbling that's like, yeah, they were doing that intentionally. They were definitely trying to mislead the public, which I appreciate. Movie studios, show me something good, but lie to me.
But see, the issue with mine and your take on that is that there were a couple of films that came out in 2016, 2017 that had parts or had things in the trailer that didn't make it to the final movie, and people pitched a fit. How dare you show me something in a trailer that's not in the movie?
I will say this: there was one of the greatest subversions of that kind I've ever seen was in Ralph Breaks the Internet, where they show the whole trailer is this scene about
I still haven't seen that movie.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not technically in the movie. So the trailer for Ralph Breaks the Internet is he's feeding. They're playing this little feeding game. You give the pancakes to the kitty or something, or the bunny, and then there's another kitten there, and he's having milkshakes. Well, Ralph breaks the whole game, and he goes into the kitchen. He pulls out this huge cart full of pancakes, and he feeds the rabbit so much that it explodes. But there was a little girl who was actually playing the game who freaks out about that because she sees this rabbit just like grow to a tremendous size and explode, which is totally game breaking. Um, and they go through the entire movie, and that scene is not in there. And then they sneak it in as a post-credit scene, and they're very meta about it. They break the fourth wall and say, "Don't you just?" They're like walking into the thing, and they say, "Don't you just hate it when they have a trailer and they show you the scene and it never quite makes it in?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I really hate that." And then they do the exact same scene in the post-credit scene of the movie. It was a great way to subvert it. I really appreciated that as an audience member. I thought that was an intelligent way to include something which gave tonality to the film in the trailer, but that scene actually had no bearing whatsoever on any part of the movie. But it did a really good job of giving the tone and kind of the feel of the movie to the audience before they saw it. So I appreciated that. That was a good subversion. But just, yeah. I think giving poorly acted examples of the film is going to have a very negative, detrimental effect to the viewing populace. Alternatively, we have become such a visualized culture. There's not really a way to market a film anymore other than through a trailer. You can't just put up like a poster somewhere and be like, "Hey, there we go. They're gonna definitely come watch this film." They're probably just gonna be. Most people don't even see posters anymore, unless it's something that is like a push notification on your YouTube or something. You're probably not going to be, entranced enough to go and pay money to see this film. Difficult. I don't know how to fix this problem. Unless and the thing is, you can't market all movies the same. Like in 1977 when Star Wars came out, the original trailer was literally just telling you you've never seen anything like this before, and there was hardly any footage whatsoever. It was just like text on a screen, but they were billing it as an experience, not as a story. You're going to come, you're going to be wowed, you're going to see things you've never imagined before in your life. It is going to change your perspective on life, the universe, and everything. And that worked. And Star Wars took off and became the powerhouse it is somewhat still today. Sequel trilogy not being mentioned much.
It's still a powerhouse, no matter how much you hate it.
I love Star Wars. Sequel trilogy needs we need like we need some moments like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. We just kind of memory scrub that a little bit, and just try again. But that notwithstanding, you can market big tentpole movies like that. That was a lot like the marketing for Avatar, which was something else that you were saying about in terms of technical things we were talking about. That we mentioned that a couple days ago. Like Avatar was not marketed as a story film. It was not marketed as an acting film. It was marketed.
It was marketed as, "Hey, look at all this new technology we've been working on."
Yeah, and not even so much as like
it's amazing.
This is going to be like a revolutionary step forward in terms of filmmaking. You need to be here on the ground floor, and people bought into it.
Avatar was the first movie I ever watched in HD.
Okay.
I watched it at 720p on a little rinky-dink TV I used to have.
Yeah.
Then I bought, then I watched it, or then I won a PS4, PS3. Dating myself. I won a PS3 in a competition, and they gave me Avatar on Blu-ray and Spider-Man 3, the video game.
Okay.
Great video game, by the way. never beat it, as per our last discussion.
Yeah.
Um,
Or one of them.
and so I watched it in 720p. Then I got the PS3, which had a Blu-ray player in it with the Blu-ray disc. I watched it I watched it on Blu-ray in 720p on my TV. And just going from standard DVD to Blu-ray, the difference was astounding to me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got a 1080p monitor, and I connected my PS3 to that and watched Avatar in 1080p on a Blu-ray, and it blew my mind the amount of detail I could see.
Right.
And that was my first experience ever seeing anything in HD, and it was perfect. And so this past week I had a lot of spare time just sitting around doing nothing because I refused to participate in Disney things because of what's currently going on.
Okay.
And so I watched a lot of movies, specifically on Disney Plus, and Avatar's on Disney Plus now. So I went and watched it. I own it, but it was right there.
Yeah.
So, but I went and watched it on Disney Plus, and just looking at it on it was a 72-inch TV, 1080p. It was a really crappy TV. Once you got up close, you could see all kinds of artifacting and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that aside, watching it in 1080p again, presumably with the highest quality that Disney Plus can offer, and I was just like, wow, CGI has gotten a billion times better since this movie came out.
Oh yeah. We have pushed the envelope again. Like that. Okay, so you remember?
On another note, makes me so stinking excited for Avatar 2.
Oh yes, most definitely. All right, let's see if we can pull this up. So interestingly enough, so this is like the. I'm going to reference this movie not just because it, it's cool, but because this is
in case anybody out there is wondering, it is now 80 degrees in my house with the AC on.
That's super.
I have contacted maintenance.
That is super fun right there.
So in case they come knocking while we're doing this.
So 20 years ago, a movie came out called X-Men. Kind of kicked off the whole superhero insanity. But the opening lines to it really touch on this particular.
Wait a second.
What? Are you just now realizing this was 20 years ago?
No.
Okay.
I am putting your knowledge to the test right now.
Okay.
Holy crap, you're right.
Yeah.
So people often talk about how Spider-Man was the first one.
Uh-huh.
And that didn't come out till 2002.
Yes.
X-Men came out in 2000.
Yes.
Holy crap. People always tout Spider-Man is what started the superhero phenomenon movies. And I'm like, I bought into that because I never actually looked it up. But then you said that and I was like, no, Gavi got something wrong.
Nope.
But then I looked it up.
Yep.
Okay. So, just continue.
Okay.
That we can edit that out so that I don't sound wrong.
I'm sorry, but we've already established from the beginning that this is an unedited content. So difficulties. Anyway, so the first lines of this film, of course, narrated by the great Sir Patrick Stewart, says, "Mutation is the key to our evolution. It has enabled us to evolve from single-celled organisms into the dominant species on the planet. This process is slow and normally taking thousands and thousands of years. But every few hundred millennia, evolution leaps forward," and then you jumps into the main title. Film is very much like this, particularly in its technology, and sometimes its storytelling, and whatever else, acting methods, the whole 9 yards. It normally it just kind of progresses as normal, and occasionally there'll be a little bit of shift in something. Some new director will try a little bit of a different angle, or there'll be a new light invented that gives better, contrast or something. But every great once in a while, it takes this gigantic leap forward into a new generation of filmmaking. This is kind of the mentality behind things like Citizen Kane, considered to be the greatest movie of all time. Whether when people went from silent film to talkies to Star Wars. Star Wars was a gigantic leap forward in filmmaking. Avatar is also a gigantic leap forward in filmmaking, partially because they had to invent so much technology to do it that they then had to make money back on and sold it to everybody so that they could also make movies like that too, which is amazing. And you were saying that that's the first movie that you saw in high definition. Avatar, I had been following it in 2000, like all the way through 2008, like when the first things started rumbling about this Avatar movie, because I was actually looking to see if it was an Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, which ended up being a travesty beyond all descriptions. But
what ended up being a travesty?
The Last Airbender.
What do you mean? That show is amazing.
The movie.
What movie?
Exactly. Exactly.
It took you way too long.
Not really, because you were being very just difficult with that. But but anyway, so Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar, was the first film that I ever saw in a theater, and I was just blown away.
That was the first movie you ever watched in theaters?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
There's a number of reasons for that, but that was it was.
I've seen so many movies in theaters. I don't remember my first movie in theaters.
Hey, I can always have that special moment where I was like,
the earliest one I can remember was a school trip.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the choice between watching Snow Dogs.
Okay.
Now I've got to go look this up.
It's Paul Walker.
Yes, Snow Dogs.
Uh-huh.
It was a choice between watching Snow Dogs and 50 First Dates.
Wow. They're going to have a bunch of school kids watch 50 First Dates. Okay.
And I watched 50 First Dates.
Okay. I'm going to be honest. That is a solid film. It is.
I love that movie.
You made the right decision. Between that and Snow Dogs, I think 50 First Dates is...
So,
yes?
Side note.
Uh-huh.
I was the only guy in the class that chose that movie.
Even
all the
more,
other guys
you made the right decision.
You are absolutely right.
All right, guys, let's go watch a dog movie. Or I could hold hands with a cute girl. Let's...
Yeah, exactly. Masters ain't no dummy.
Anyway, so that was my first film that I saw in theaters, and it just blew me away. I had never seen or heard anything like this. So when we actually got a 4K TV a couple years ago, that was the first film I put on there because I'm like, hey, if we got 4K, we got to watch Avatar because the memory in the mind is not necessarily what you see again. And while a lot of it does still hold up very, very well, there's a couple points where you're just like, ooh, that by today's standards, again, because this was the gigantic leap forward that pushed us into a new generation of filmmaking, there's a couple textures and things where they're just not quite up to par, up to snuff anymore. And you're like, man, I don't remember that looking so fake back all those years ago. What's going on here? And then you're like, oh, I've been spoiled. This makes perfect sense now. I just am an ungrateful person.
We already know that about you.
Yeah, so. You don't have to say it, but yeah. So it's just a great. We have come to a place right now in filmmaking where we're not sure where the next leap forward is. We're not sure what we can do to leap forward at the moment. We tried to do 3D. That was also kind of a thing that Avatar brought to the forefront. 3D film and the process to make it look legitimate and not just as a gimmick. But even today, 3D is not a necessity for film. You don't have to have a film in 3D for it to look good, to be enjoyed. It's just it is kind of a gimmick, but it's nice when it's there.
I love that 3D has evolved from gimmicky in your face technology to be more depth of field related.
Thank Avatar.
When you watch a movie, it helps the depth of field. Yes.
Avatar was the first 3D film to really use it for that. And I will say this, where even today, being that this is one of the parts that really, really, really holds up even by today's standards, when they first fly into the Hallelujah Mountains that they call them, the floating mountains of Pandora, that is still one of the most iconic shots I've ever seen in any film ever, because it just...
And you got to see it up close on the back of a Banshee.
I did. It's pretty cool. I want to go back to Disney and ride that a bunch more.
So that was the one thing I did go back and ride at Disney this time around. So I told you that on Friday, so about halfway through Thursday, I was 100% peopled out, ready to come home.
Yeah.
And so I stopped talking to people. My mother got worried because I was being a recluse, and I was like, I've literally spent every waking moment with you since we got here.
Mm-hmm.
Go away.
Yes.
And she talked me. Well, she didn't really talk me into it because you can't talk me into anything. It is my decision. And so they were going to go eat at
Rainforest Cafe.
Rainforest Cafe. Thank you.
I remember your messages.
Yes. And so Rainforest Cafe, you go with little kids for the experience.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a place of fine dining. The food is edible.
It's a 6 out of 10.
It's the best. And that's including the atmosphere. If I was just to go strictly for the food and close my eyes the entire time, then it would definitely be a 3 out of 10. The food is edible. That's as much of a compliment as I can give it to.
We have a very different scale of edibility, because my 3 is like, yeah.
Well,
it's like survival situation food. I would consider, yeah.
Yeah, so survival situation food would be a 1 for me. So once you step up to a 2, that means that you have a choice now. And 3 is you have a choice and you chose poorly.
Okay. So this is kind of like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. They hand you the cup. And you're just like, yes, well, hope we chose wise.
Exactly.
Slowly.
So I, first of all, I didn't want to go just because I knew how gross the food really is. And I say gross. It's not terrible. It's just passable as an edible substance.
It's food. It's like...
Yeah, it's like you're not gonna take a bite and go, oh my god, this is amazing. You're gonna take a bite and go, oh look, there's an elephant over there.
I just realized exactly what Rainforest Cafe food tastes like. It like generally across the board, all their stuff tastes like leftovers on like the 3rd day.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. That is a very accurate description.
Yeah, it's like it's been sitting in the fridge for 3 days. It might have gotten a little bit of condensation.
Like heated it up in the microwave.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. That is exactly what it tastes like. You're not wrong. Okay. So anyways, but I decided to go because I had been not talking to people and laying in bed for about 18 hours at this point. And I thought, I might as well. And also, I had not left the house since Sunday, when I almost died going to Disney Springs.
Yep.
Because it is so daggum freaking hot and humid in Florida.
Yep.
And on top of that, you have to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Which the mask was fine. I was fine with the mask. I was not fine with the heat and the humidity. And so I decided to go. We get there, we eat, make my mother very happy, and I'm now forgetting the point I was trying to make to begin with.
About being there, not being happy.
I've lost it. I've lost where I was going with that.
That's a problem.
Oh, we were talking about Pandora.
Yes,
Avatar. So anyways, so I was there. It's right outside of Animal Kingdom. And so, I mean, we were already there. And I thought, well, I've made it this far into public. What's a few more steps? So we walked and went into Animal Kingdom and went over to Pandora and rode the 2 rides over there. And then we left. Mm-hmm. And that was the only rides that I rode at Disney World this time. So, but it was just as fun this time as it was the first time.
And then the second time, and I think, did we get 3 in on that one?
No, I think we only did 2. We did an early morning and walked basically right on the ride, and then we went back and did an evening and got like. It was like a 15 or 20 minute wait, but then we got in there and it started pouring down rain and lightning, and they had to stop it for a while, and so we ended up waiting for a little bit. But it still wasn't bad.
I thought we rode it back to back at night, like we got off and we went right back on. I could be misremembering that.
We may have.
We
may have gotten. Okay, I think you might be right. I think we rode it. And we had like a 10, 15 minute wait. It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
And then we went right back on it, literally right before they were going to put the guards up, say, hey, this ride's closed. And that's when it broke down for a little bit and we had to wait.
Yeah, we got there and we rode it. And then, while we were waiting in line, your dad was like, hey, I want to ride this too. And like he left wherever he was and he met up with us and we rode again with him a second time. Yeah.
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 Yeah, you're right.
Hey, sometimes I remember stuff.
More than me.
That's debatable.
It's really not. I forgot what my point was 15 minutes into the conversation.
You know, that happens. That's part of the charm of this little endeavor here. I think. Sasquatch, you have to let us know. Is that part?
Mechanic.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're looking at right now.
There are so many times I drive by a car broken down on the side of the road with a cute girl just standing there going, I don't know what to do. And I'm going, I should pull over and help. But I have the same expression on my face as she does. I have no idea what to do. So I keep driving.
Okay, so I did it at the time to be funny, but now it has like come back to bite me. Do you remember? Did you ever see a Big Fat Liar?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, which one?
The first one, the only good one.
Yes.
I know that there is a remake. I have seen exactly 5 minutes of the middle of the remake, and I know that I do not want to see any more of it. It is horrible. The charm, the panache, the front, the Paul Giamatti. It's not
Giamatti.
Oh, he's so good.
I love him.
Anyway, so there's this point where, you know.
Oh my goodness. It has Amanda Bynes in it.
I know.
Oh my god. The nostalgia.
The 90s feels, man.
Oh, this is 2002.
I know, but it's still part of the 90s culture.
Yeah.
It is very much a product of its time. But it's
Frankie Muniz
still holds up.
So I'll let you finish your point.
Okay. So
I'm just going to type something in chat so I don't forget.
Okay. What was my point? Yes. Okay. So there's the point where they're trying to get Wolf to, the set on the last day, right? Like when the whole thing's coming together, and the one guy, I can never remember his name in the movie, the chauffeur, he's driving him and it breaks down. He goes up front and there's like a smoke machine under the hood, and so he's like, oh, hot smoke, hot smoke. Well, one day, I'm driving with my mother. I was like 16, 17, and I pull, and the car starts smoking, right? So we pull over, and I go around, and I still know nothing at all about mechanics or anything like that. And so I pop the hood, and my mom's like, oh, you should check and see what's wrong. No idea. And so I open the hood, I pop it up, and I go, hot smoke, trying to be funny. Well, now my entire family just uses that against me because they don't have that correlation that I was doing a bit that I'm like directly plagiarizing from this movie, and then yeah. And so now like he just knows nothing, which I don't know anything about mechanics or anything like that. But it's like I did it as a bit to be funny.
More than I allude to through necessity and cheapskateness.
I don't. My mechanic got so mad at me. A couple weeks ago, was it? That was about a week ago. My car was making noise. One of the belts or something, there was a bearing on it that was going wrong, and so he told me what part to get, and then he'd replace it. So I went online, I looked it up, and I found the part, and I ordered exactly the right part according to everything that I could see, and it fit. But the part that came out had these 4 holes in it.
How have I not seen this movie?
What movie?
Sorry. I'm looking up, trying to get a list of the movies that I watched during the week, and I just got an advertisement for Percy Jackson Sea of Monsters. Oh. How have I not seen this movie?
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the Percy Jackson stuff, so I really don't know. But so the part I got, while it is exact same dimensions and everything as the original, it doesn't have these 4 holes, which makes it like impossible to attach it to the vehicle like it should be.
Yeah.
And I don't know this stuff. I'm just like, I don't know, it's the right size, it's the right part number, I guess it's good, right? My mechanic was very upset with me. But he's a cool guy. It was mostly in jest, but he was definitely like, you can't do this to me. He's like, I had to work 3 hours trying to get your engine in the right position, like move the whole engine so I could get this stupid part in. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. You should have just got this thing. I was trying to tell you. You didn't believe me.
So
go ahead.
Part of my week was me trying to educate the young children about some great movies that I grew up with. It didn't go over very well.
What were you trying to show them?
That's what I was trying to get a list of. But we were talking about 90s nostalgia. I watched Kid in King Arthur's Court again.
Okay.
It's such a good movie. I don't know that you've seen it, but I love it so much. It's about a kid that Merlin brings back from the future to the past to help save King Arthur's court. And he was like in the middle of a baseball game, and he was this afraid to hit the ball kind of kid. And he goes through all this stuff with King Arthur and becomes brave and whatnot. Anyways, really good, funny movie that just brings back all the 90s nostalgia. You should watch it. But I had them watch The Black Cauldron.
Very good movie.
Yes.
Underrated film. And actually underrated film.
Yes. They watched it for a little bit, and then it got to the scary, spooky stuff, quote unquote, and stopped watching it and went away. But I finished watching it, so it's okay.
Kids these days.
The Great Mouse Detective. I started off with that one.
Very good.
Yes, that was my start off.
Mm-hmm.
I literally just went. Disney has a Disney Through the Decades section on Disney Plus.
Nice.
And I literally just went back to the 70s, 80s, and 90s and looked for movies. I made them watch Oliver and Company. Turns out they had already seen it.
Okay.
which isn't terrible. Good, you've seen it.
Yes.
Proud of you.
You have some culture.
Yes, we watched it again.
Very good.
And then after a couple of movies that I picked out that they had already seen, I started getting a little bit more choosy with what I was going to pick. Because like I wanted to watch the Robin Hood movie,
Yeah.
but I thought they've seen this one, so I didn't even try that one. But that's one of my favorites too.
I really the Robin Hood movie is.
Of course, I like Robin Hood in general.
Yeah.
I'll watch a C movie Robin Hood movie just because it's about Robin Hood. I love Robin Hood so much.
This is a movie I don't think we've discussed at all ever, but we need to now since you brought that up. Have you seen the duology of movies? First of all, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Kevin Costner plays the title role. He is the only Robin Hood to not actually have an English accent at all. Morgan Freeman, Alan Rickman plays the.
I am 90% sure that I have seen.
Okay.
Yes.
Then have you also seen the absolutely glorious spoof Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Absolutely, I have seen that one. I love that movie so much.
I'm gonna say this: if you
are finally mine, Maid Marian. Ting. Call the locksmith.
Oh, so if you have not seen Prince of Thieves, you should watch that film one time. It's not the greatest, but you should watch it one time.
I've definitely seen Alec Rickman in this.
And then rewatch Men in Tights because it was made by Mel Brooks specifically as a parody of that movie. And there are some jokes that just don't quite hit right. You're like, what do you mean Robin Hood can speak with an English accent? Oh, that's what he. You're like, oh, he's talking.
Yes.
He's throwing shade at Kevin Costner. I gotcha.
The more I scroll through the pictures on Google Images of this movie, the more I'm like, yep, I've definitely seen this version of the movie.
It is
of Robin Hood.
It is so good.
But yes, I absolutely love Robin Hood. Everything about him. So I have pretty much seen every version of Robin Hood that exists. There are a couple of ones that have come out since about 2015 that I haven't had a chance to see, just because of timing. But yeah, so I think the last one I watched was the 2010 film with the guy from 300.
Gerard Butler? I didn't know that he made a Robin Hood film.
No, Russell Crowe.
Yeah, he's not in 300. But you didn't see that one?
No, that was the last one I did see.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a second. You didn't see that one? That was like a big film that year.
Yeah,
I saw that one.
That was.
Now I gotta ask, have you seen like some of the really old ones? I mean, you probably saw like the original one with Errol Flynn, obviously. Yes.
You know I'm not good with names.
You have to remember the music. Da 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 da. Any recollection here? Yes.
I'm telling
No.
you, my memory is horrible.
Okay, let's look this up. Robin Hood. Errol. I feel so bad for people like listening in and be like, man, I really wish I could see this too. Guess what, people? You can't. Errol. Like this is like the seminal.
Errol Flynn. I'm looking at the stuff for it right now.
Here we go.
Yes, I have seen this version.
Very good. If you have not seen this, you are a fake Robin Hood fan.
Yes, I have seen this version.
Now, what is actually an even better version of Robin Hood from this area is Robin Hood with Lorne Greene, Lorngreen. He did a TV series, and Lorne Greene is actually better known for being the dad on Bonanza, and also Commander Adama in the 1970s version or original version of Battlestar Galactica. But he also played Robin Hood way back when, and as like a regular like weekly TV show. And there's actually like a feature-length film, 2-part feature-length film with his performance, and it is probably the best Robin Hood film I've ever seen. It has all the parts in there, the whole thing from start to finish, and it just really, really digs into the characters and the push back and forth. There's really good tension all the way through it. It's like, wow. And they did this in 1952, 50, maybe even before that. 1955, The Adventures of Robin Hood. Adventures of Robin Hood. Not the 1938 one.
Oh, we talked about Robin Hood Men in Tights last week because we were talking about Princess Bride. Or not last week, week before last. Well, not last. When we were doing we were talking about the remake of Princess Bride. We talked about Robin Hood Men in Tights because Wesley is the Robin Hood.
I don't recall.
Yeah, Carl Elwes.
Elwes, yeah.
Carrie Elwes.
Yeah. I think that's, it's hard to figure it out. Sometimes, like, okay, well, who is this person? How do you pronounce their name? There are it took me a while to figure out how to pronounce Alden Ehrenreich, the guy who plays the new Han Solo, the young Han Solo.
Yes.
Yeah. People in Hollywood, okay, it used to be a thing in Hollywood that they would give like pseudonyms to all the actors. Like, most of the people from like the early days up until maybe the mid 60s, all of them had pseudonyms and other things that they were like. John Wayne is not actually John Wayne. It's John Wayne, haha. No, his real name is Marion Morrison.
Now, how would you not keep a name like that?
I don't see a real Marion Morrison, just charging across the prairie, 6-gun on his hip after the Indians. I mean, it's just doesn't quite bear the same panache as John Wayne. It's just, I don't know why that was. Like today, everybody just has their real name for the most part. There's a couple people who have like little variations on it, but it's basically just their real name. Yeah, The Adventures of Robin Hood, the TV show. I don't know if you've ever seen it, if you've ever heard of it. Now you can. It is really, really good. No, it's wrong. It's not Lauren Green. It's Richard Green. I think it's his brother or something. They look a lot alike, but very, very, very well done series. Very, very well done. Made for TV movie. And like I said, it's the made for TV movie is like 4.5 hours of Robin Hood. Which,
I have seen this.
You have seen this.
I've seen the movie, yes. I don't think I've seen the show.
Yeah.
But yes, I have absolutely seen this movie.
Like, the show is all in black and white, but the movie they actually did colorize. It was right around that time where it was starting to become a thing. And the colorized movie is great. The show is pretty solid as well. I am a great proponent of this of this version of Robin Hood. It's probably my favorite version. I know that Errol Flynn is like the seminal version. You got like, oh, it's Errol. And besides, it's Errol Flynn anyway. But he's almost too much of a swashbuckler to really sell me on that. I don't ever feel like Errol Flynn's Robin Hood is living in the woods. I feel like he is definitely going back to his trailer with air conditioning and a 6-pack or whatever, and he's just like, I am Errol Flynn. These guys, I actually feel like they're living in the woods. And so, whether that's good or not, I'll leave that up to your decision, but like, it's not quite as, it doesn't have the polish of the people that original one does, and it kind of, but it's not, the modern day okay, that's another thing that annoys me, and I see it in everything. If you have any depiction of people in the past up until about the year 1920. Before that, after 1920, people started to become people again, I guess. But if you have anything like from the dawn of time up until 1919, whenever they make a movie, everybody is just filthy the entire time. They have just grease and dirt caked on their face and their hair, under their nails. It's like, you do realize that those were living human beings, because they're usually some sort of like docudrama or something like that, and like they don't like the feeling of dirt under their fingernails or of having just mud caked all over their body. You do realize that this is not a new concept, that we have water and soap, and we've had that since 2500 BC or whatever. It's like, we understand what soap is. We are very, very familiar with the idea. We understand that water takes off the dirt. We're a smart species. We understand this, and we don't like to just walk around dirty. Most people don't like to just walk around. I know a couple.
Are we a smart race, though? Are we smart people?
I know a couple people who are exceptions to that rule, who do genuinely like to walk around dirty. And I'm related to one of them. But that's a whole other story. Generally, people
they're
don't.
A Sasquatch, though.
He's kind of like one of those inserts. He doesn't quite fit the mold, if you get me. We think there may have been a.
Wait, are you calling me an insert?
No, you're not the one I was referring to at all. Are you one of those dirty people who likes to be dirty, Masters?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
I absolutely hate dirty.
There we go. See, you're not the guy I'm talking about.
So, side note.
Yes, sir.
I also made them watch a Goofy movie and an extremely Goofy movie.
This is parenting done right. You will.
They had already seen it.
Still,
because my sister.
You should. They should be made to watch it again.
And apparently they have, because they were singing the songs.
Very good.
But they like extremely Goofy movie better.
Okay. Something's gone wrong somewhere. I don't know what's gone wrong, but something is clearly like this is.
I should have made them watch Luck of the Irish.
This is one of those, Lilo and Stitch moments where Cobra Bubbles walks in, and
we watched that as well.
And he's like, something has gone very, very wrong. It's just not right. You can't do this. What do you mean you're like a...
They only called me in when something has gone very, very wrong. You have 3 days to change my mind.
Yeah. Oh, that's the original change my mind meme. Bad joke. Yeah.
Let's see here. There was another movie I made him watch as well.
I appreciate. In fact, here's the thing. An extremely goofy movie, the reason that an extremely goofy movie did not surpass its predecessor is because it did not put into it the same memorable moments, the same level of memorable moments. Like when I think
it was basically a compilation of all the old Disney Goofy shorts where he miraculously does good things while being bad at them.
Yeah. But like, a Goofy movie actually has heart. It has a story. It has a narrative and character arcs for everybody involved, except Pete.
Hey, the Boulder or whatever his name is, he had an arc.
The Boulder.
He shot the.
You mean Brick?
The Brick. Hey, he's a rock, okay? He shot the guy into space by his underwear. You just laughed like a little girl.
I did enjoy that scene. I just had that scene just played out directly in my mind, point by point, line by line. It was great. But I'm thank you for bringing that back to my mind.
Yes, because she's like the casual do stomping over to him. Poof, poof. Hey Ricky.
No. Hey Ricky baby. Brick. But a Goofy movie, the first one, has such a every every single person has something to learn about themselves through the course of that film. And an extremely goofy movie has a little itty bitty tiny touch of that, but it's only really directed at Goofy.
Ooh, Flubber was the other one we watched.
Flubber, such a good one. I like Rob Williams again, man.
Yep. I almost made them watch Jungle to Jungle with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
And Jack.
Okay. Ooh.
Robin Williams again.
Yeah, Jack. That was...
I don't know that they have the attention span for those two movies, though.
Yeah, Jack you might want to wait till they're like 12. They might get Jack a lot more at that point. Maybe, actually, wait a second. I'm just remembering a lot more about Jack. You might want to hold off on Jack for a while. He is a 10-year-old kid in a 40-year-old man's body, and someone found that attractive. Oh, that's creepy now. That's like really creepy at this point. Oh.
I mean, it's no different than Waterboy.
Well, actually, that's very different than Waterboy, because Waterboy, like, he actually lived those years. Yes, he has mental issues, but he, like, actually lived those years. Jack, he lived exactly 10 years. He is a 10-year-old kid. He has 10 years of experience. It's a very weird experience. It's not the same experience as everybody else, but he lived 10 years. And now you got someone who's like, hey, it's not good. Not good. Not good at all. Let's change subjects a little bit. Not really. Kind of. We're going to... Other things. We had a lot of back and forth. One of these I thought was interesting enough. I sent you this meme about a week ago about dating isn't just about dating anymore. You're picking your potential apocalypse partner. Choose wisely, folks.
Yep. I'm going to survive alone.
Like, legitimately, though. Sasquatch, you are our viewer. Legitimate thoughts. How well do you think that would work? Just like walk up to a girl, hey, what are your apocalypse survival plans? Might they include me?
Not to beat a dead horse here.
Yeah.
But the Irish girl that I've started watching on YouTube. She's a self-proclaimed prepper.
Oh dear.
Yes, she has a go bag.
I wonder how
she wants a bunker.
I wonder how much, like, I wonder what she can actually put in her go bag. Because
she has a video of what's in her go bag.
Oh, well, what is in her go bag? You should tell me this.
Basically a lot of food and stuff for her and her dog. Okay.
American go bags are more interesting. Like, my go bag, so I've had a busy day. I had a Bible study this morning, then I went to the gun range with my dad, and then I went and played a half a round of golf, 9 holes, which in this heat was about all I was going to take. But me and my dad, we go, and I just I load up my thought was I'm going to load up this bag. It's going to have a little bit in there. No, it was packed full of guns and ammunition and parts and I get to and I'm picking this up. I'm like, man, this is a 40-pound bag. Why do I have so much stuff in this stupid bag? We're only going to be there for an hour. We used most of it. But it's American go bags are not necessarily. We have to account for some extra weight because we can throw extra fun things in the go bag that they can't throw in there for the most part in other parts of the world. I think actually in Ireland you can get your hand on some fun stuff, but you better not tell anybody that you did. Because yeah. You get what I'm saying, Masters?
Yeah, yep. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Good. Yeah. Was having that conversation with another guy, one of the guys I was playing golf with today. He's another fella trending into his 30s alone, and we were kind of running through like, hey, so why are we both alone? Not that, you know.
We've had this discussion, Kevin. We know why you're alone.
This is probably a terrible thing to admit to. But last night, I was playing. I got talked into by a couple of my Sunday school kids to buying Call of Duty, and I have not played Call of Duty in years.
You bought Call of Duty?
I bought Call of Duty. I know.
On what?
PC.
On what though? Steam, Epic Games,
Oh,
Origin.
What is it? Battle.net.
So Origin.
I guess. I don't know. It was the one that they sent me the link for. Anyways.
Oh, Blizzard.
Blizzard, yes.
Oh.
So I bought it, and we're going through Warzone, which is basically battle royale, and we drop in on this roof, and there's like 3 teams up there, and they're wiping the teams. I'm just hiding behind something because I'm very bad at that, like I am at all video games. And we finally like get like 3 people down in this one team, and I come around this corner and I see one of the down people, and the person was playing with a female avatar, and the first thing I did was just shoot her right in the head, because that's what you do in that game. But when I did it, I have kind of like the hello hole thing where it's just like I just greet whatever it is that's come right in front of me. So I just like I come around the corner, I say, "Oh, hello, miss," and I shoot her right in the head. And then it occurred, and then I couldn't stop myself. I'm like, "Oh, maybe that was the wrong thing to do. Perhaps this is why I'm still single." And my Sunday school kids had some interesting takes on that. Yeah, I have real problems when it comes to keeping bad jokes inside. I am fairly certain at several points I legitimately hurt some of my kids' feelings.
Yeah, get over it.
Well, that's what I said to them.
Black Ops 4?
I think I have that. No, it's Modern Warfare.
Which one?
The newest one? I don't know. Is there a way I can send you this link? I don't know.
Call of Duty Warzone?
Yeah, it's Warzone. Warzone is actually free. And then the rest of the game is the full thing. And I was just playing the free one, and they're like, "Well, we want to play this too." And I'm like, "I really don't want to spend $60." And they're like, "Oh, you're just being lame."
Oh, you had me until you just said that.
What?
$60.
Well, like I said, Warzone is free, and that's typically like every time I've played with them since the first time, we've only played Warzone. Like I said, Warzone is free. But the rest of it, and you don't have to buy the battle. I haven't bought the battle pass. I am done. I am buying no more battle passes on any game for any battle royale ever. I'm done. I don't care. I am not good enough at any of these games to pretend like I care. I get the idea behind the battle pass. I do. I really do. Oh, it lets you get new guns and new things and new skins and affect gameplay or not affect gameplay depending on how we're going to rig things. But I really don't care. I am not good enough at any of these games to give a darn. I am just there to...
Why does it want me to add my phone number? Oh, I just have to tell them that I already did. And that apparently works.
Okay. But yeah, it's pretty trash. Or not it is, but I am. It's actually a decent game. I will say that the gameplay.
I've seen people play it.
Yeah, the gameplay is is up to snuff. I'm just bad at it like I am at everything else. This is not a surprise.
You're not bad at everything.
I'm bad at everything.
Monster Hunter World.
I am bad at everything. Perhaps mostly that. Okay. So you have a very skewed perspective on my skill level of Monster Hunter World. Because typically, when we play together, we are fighting things that I've already fought several times. I've learned the movesets, and I have a general understanding of what's going to happen next.
Isn't that what good is nowadays?
No, that is simply a... think of it like driving to work. The first time you're driving and you're paying attention to the road and to cars and this, that, and the other, and you're trying to make sure you don't miss your turn and this, that. The very first time you drive to work. The second time you're doing the same thing, the first week, the second week. Next thing you know, it's 6 months down the line, and you could you would never ever try it. But you have this sneaking suspicion that if you closed your eyes as soon as you put the car in drive, you could make it all the way to work, provided that there were no other cars on the road. You will sometimes go the entire trip, turn your car off and go, how did I get here? I don't remember any of the turns. I don't remember stopping for anything. I don't remember any red lights, stop signs. I hope I didn't just drive through that, because your brain totally turns that off.
Oh, I do that all the time.
I know.
I drive on autopilot all the time.
And surprisingly enough, that is actually a safer way to drive, because then your brain is...
The Army disagrees. I've had training that says otherwise.
Okay. Well, the Army's a little bit of a different thing, because, yeah, the Army is a different thing. What your brain does if you're on autopilot is it just reacts to irregular stimulus. So the car that's in front of you that's driving, 20, 10 under the speed limit, you're reacting to that, as opposed to being like, trying to remember your way to get to places, because your mind is a pattern recognition machine. It's just always looking for patterns, and as soon as it locks into a pattern, that is what it does. That's all. It takes that out of your focus, and lets you start working on other things with your mind, because it's always trying to be productive. It's nice. It's like a bro. But as soon as something deviates from that, it will bring you back into the present for what you're actually doing. So I guess the research is still out on that, but from what I've read, it's actually a beneficial thing to have that that autopilot, as it were. That being, where was I going with this? Okay, Monster Hunter. So a lot of the monsters, every single fight is different, because the randomly generated user interface and the whole 9 yards, and what you do versus what the programming tells the monster to do, all that changes every single time. But when you play it enough, when you do it enough, the first couple times it's exactly like driving the car. Oh, this is difficult. I don't know what I'm doing. What's that? Oh, it's swinging his tail at me now. It's shooting fire, whatever. After you do it like 12, 15 times, you get a rough idea of what's going to happen, and your body starts to automatically, move your fingers in such a way so that you are avoiding or dodging or not being in the right place, in the same place, and then just progressive iterations of that out and out and out. And then the pattern recognition starts to come in and starts to apply itself to other monsters that you would be facing in Monster Hunter. So which one was it? Monster Hunter 4 did a really, really, really good job of this. They added a bunch of new monsters in for Monster Hunter 4, and every single one of those monsters was basically a prep for kind of the big end to the story, which was Shigaru Magala. And pretty much every single thing that Shigaru Magala can do to you was already something that you encountered from some other monster earlier in the story. And there was the same story, the same monsters as there always are: Rathian, Rathalos, Diablos, and those ones kind of do what they do. But every single one of the new monsters that they added in had some attack or something that they did, which was very similar to something that Shigaro Magala would do in his big fight. And so when you saw it, it was at one very scary because you don't know exactly what you're doing, but it was also familiar because you'd already become accustomed to this other thing that was very much like that. And so there's kind of this push back and forth in your mind to be like, okay, I am in a weird place doing something I haven't done before, but I also am very familiar with it. So your brain creates that pattern recognition and helps you to, like, it gives you the extra help in being able to determine what you should be doing to proceed with that fight, which I think was a very, very cool idea, and it was executed very well. And I kind of wish that they'd have done that a little bit more in Monster Hunter World, because there are things that happen that just don't make any sense, and I haven't even gotten to any of the crazy ones yet. I know World and Iceborne have been out. The people who are
I really wish I was in Iceborne right now.
Why?
It's 80 degrees right now.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Like, it's so hot inside that I'm debating on whether or not to open a window. I don't know that it's any colder outside. No, it's 86 outside. Not doing that.
Yep, don't do that. That's another.
Although there might be wind outside.
So throwing this at you, I determined this last week, like, definitely confirmed. I had a suspicion for years, and I joked about it, but I definitely confirmed it last week. Not last week, the week before. No, last week. Like, what day is this? I don't know.
Today is Saturday.
Today is Saturday. So last week, I was working from home, and it has been noted to me that my room is always significantly hotter than the rest of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yes, I have noticed this. I'm dying. Well, I have my air conditioner going, I have my fan blowing on me the whole day long, and my room is still like 8 to 10 degrees warmer than the whole rest of the house. Well, partway through the day, I go on lunch. Nature called. I went across the hall. I used the restroom. Come back in about 20 minutes later, Not that it took me that long to get in there, but, just to be out of my room for a minute. And I come back in about 20 minutes later, and my room is now the coldest room in the house. The only factor that changed was my presence in that room. I generate so much heat, I warm the room I'm in significantly.
I'd say that.
That's problematic. Because I don't deal well with heat. You and I are very much in the same boat in that regard. But if I am the engineer of my own destruction. I just am trying to be cool and to just be cold. I just want to be cold all the time. But every room I go into, I significantly heat that room up. And I've considered, well, maybe it's my computer, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. No, my computer at the time was running all my work stuff and Monster Hunter, and because there wasn't that much going on that day. But it was doing all this stuff, and I left the room with everything still running, and I come back in, and it's cold. So it clearly was not. It was not my computer, it was me. And I don't know how to deal with that, because there's not really anything I can do to fix that. Short of just not living anymore, there's no way around that. Are you getting what I'm saying here?
That is a bit problematic.
Is that unique to me, or do you also heat rooms up, or has that never occurred to you?
It has never occurred to me, but it is probably exceptionally true.
And I know a lot of
we're just two hot studs. What can we say?
Well, okay. have you? It's a meme, which is very true. and it was a joke before I knew that it was a meme. There's one out there where it says, no man has ever picked up a stud finder without first pointing at it himself.
Yes.
Yeah. One right here.
Yep.
Very true.
You're not wrong. I have, in fact, done that several times.
Mm-hmm.
It is the first dad joke any guy ever makes.
I don't know if it's the first one, but it's the one that every guy makes. Yeah, as soon as as soon as what's the little Timmy, he's like 6 years old, and it gets handed to us by his dad, who's going to be hanging pictures or whatever. Daddy, what's this? It's a stud finder. Oh, there's one right here, Dad. Look at that. Beep beep. It's like, what do you? How does the kid even know what that means? But they know somehow. There's a stud right here. Point it right at your face. Deep. At the hardest. Yeah. Think about this. Every guy points it directly at the hardest bone that you have in your head, and deep. Why is it that there's the hardest bone in your head that ticks? I mean, obviously it's because of density and everything else like that, but apparently it's a bonehead that makes a stud.
Yeah. Oh, you funny. I do it to my chest. I don't do it to my head.
That's weird. You just point it straight at your sternum and hope for the best. Okay, I haven't tried that yet.
We also watched Meet the Robinsons.
Good movie.
Very good movie.
That is a genuinely underappreciated film. I think
said that a lot tonight.
Well, last time we talked about a series that was definitely not underrated or underappreciated. Which, again, Avatar is great. Never let that be in question. But there are some other things that are actually underappreciated that just fly totally under the radar. And I think Meet the Robinsons is one of those. You can say anything you want about the twist at the end, but I genuinely enjoy that movie in all of its facets, and it has a really good message. It has a really good story. It's very heartfelt. Yes, it's kind of weird, but that's also part of its charm. It presents you with weird things that you would never encounter in any other setting. A guy goes back in time to get his dad to fix his dad's invention in the future, which is a time machine.
No, that's not what that. No.
What?
He goes back in time to get
to
a time machine back that was stolen,
yeah.
And ends up breaking his own in the process, and then he has to get his dad to fix the time machine
right
as his younger self.
I sit corrected.
I literally just watched it, or day before yesterday.
Yeah. But really, what I think the thing that makes Meet the Robinsons so good, and I know as I've used this term a lot tonight, is actually the skill with which they shift tone. Because at one point it's this madcap slapstick comedy, with all these weird characters and teeth falling out, yes, and singing frogs and.
I think I found your teeth, Grandpa.
Oh, wow,
teeth! Thank you.
And then there's the T-Rex. I have a big head and little arms. I'm just not.
I'm just thinking this plan wasn't thought out very well.
Master. It goes directly from that, but then there's these little beats along the way where it's actually very, very, heartfelt and genuine, and when Lewis is like, "Oh, I don't have any parents. I'm an orphan." The whole family just, and the whole
and then they realize who he is, and they're like,
"Well, that's
we
later.
Love you very much. Go away."
That's a little bit. That's that's like a couple
It's not
seconds
that
later.
much later.
It's a couple of seconds later, but like there's that like the movie just stops. The air goes out of the room, and everyone's like, oh, and like because that is something that's near and dear to their heart. That's how the whole thing just like hinges on. And oh, don't send me that, Masters. Masters is trying to distract me with Star Wars.
I am not
Um,
trying to distract you with Dave Filoni's view on Star Wars.
Masters is trying to distract me with Star Wars. Anyway, so
YouTube started it,
and so, but it becomes this very natural transition. Like they were just having a fight. No, this is the different parts of the movie. Take it back. Different parts of the movie. I was getting ahead of myself with that recounting, or behind myself, one of the two. But like all that slapstick humor and everything else just drops right there. It becomes this very, very tender, very, very emotional moment where like, oh, we want you to be part of our family. Please come be part of our family. And then they do it again, and they flip the script on everything, and he knocks the hat off, and like the big reveal happens, and like, oh, and that you're just swept right along with the tonality. You're not really sure why that's an issue, but you know that something has dramatically changed, and you suddenly feel exactly like Lewis does, where he already feels unwanted, and he's just like, but nothing should happen. Why is that? Why does everyone hate me all of a sudden? And you just get swept right along with that beautiful, beautiful transition from 1, 2, 3, and it really is just like this beautiful 1, 2, 3 punch where you're just like slapstick comedy to heartfelt, acceptance to crushing refusal and getting cast out. And he runs away, and then you can totally get behind why the character's like, oh yeah, I'll help this guy because clearly he's the only one who actually cares. He's the only one who actually knows. And then you find out that he's the roommate. But yeah. It's just,
let me shed some light on the situation. This is my old room. I think you mean our old room.
Goob? Yes! I know. I'm disgusting.
Well, it's actually a long story of self-worth, of self-loathing and mutual hatred.
Not really mutual, but
It's mutual with him and the Hat.
Yes.
Because the Hat also hates Cornelius.
I wonder. I get how that's just one of those weird things in the movie where it's like his name is Lewis, but they
change it when he gets adopted.
I know, but because
the dad is like, you don't really look like a Lewis, and he's like, yeah, I look more like a Cornelius.
Yeah,
because he knows.
Like, I get that, and it's kind of cool how that plays out in the movie, but like, this might just be my lack of understanding of how that whole adoption process works, and I'm like, does that actually happen? We're like,
yes,
like
you can change the entire name.
Okay, because I mean,
yes,
I know that happens with like animals, but like people is kind of a different thing.
Yes.
like we have
when we adopted my first sister, her entire name changed.
Okay.
She was.
Be careful. We're on the internet.
Yeah. I don't. Her name technically didn't change. It's still technically the same. They just made it more proper.
Okay.
So instead of it being like Sally, that was a horrible. Because I don't know what a formal name for Sally would be. Oh, okay. Let's do this. So instead of her name being Susie, we changed her name to Suzanne.
Right.
But she still goes by Susie.
Okay. That makes sense. I wish my
whereas like my brother that we adopted, he kept his first name, but then changed his middle name to be the same as my dad's.
Okay.
And then my other sister that we adopted, she kept her first name, but changed her middle name to a combination of my parents' middle
And that was like
which is what they were middle names that they were going to give me and my sister, but decided against at the time.
Okay.
And so, so the combination of my dad and mom's middle name was going to be my sister's middle name, but they couldn't agree on how to spell it.
Right.
And at the time, I was naive and thinking that I wanted siblings.
Ah.
I was 6. I didn't know any better. And I cried for them to name her after me. And so they did. Her middle name is the female version of, well, I guess technically my name is ambiguous.
Ambidextrous?
Is that the word I'm looking for? Ambidextrous. Yes, my name is ambidextrous. My name could write with both hands.
I'm sorry.
But yes, my name can be male or female, but they made it more feminine. So it's hard being not specific.
I know. Believe me, I know.
But yeah, so yeah, you can change the full name when you're adopted.
Okay. Like I said, I just
actually, when if you've watched Friends, when you get married, you can also change your full name.
That might be a state by state thing.
No, well, it might be, but I know when we went to go get my ex-wife's name changed, she was asking about specifics, and the guy literally told her, "I don't care." Change your name to whatever you want.
That might be a very specific case. Okay, since you brought that up, I gotta.
Because she was like, "So do I make my last name my middle name, or do I keep my middle name?" And he looked at her and said, "You can change it to whatever you want. I don't care."
Okay,
Yay, state workers.
This is a question I need answered. Well, I mean, I already have my answer, and it's a big deal to me. I'm trying to understand how this would not be a big deal to someone, and I haven't found anyone who would willingly answer that question.
So let's go swallow a banana hammock.
No. So
that was a French.
If there was, say you had encountered the next future Mrs. Masters, correct?
Okay. We'll call her Missy.
We'll call her Missy. And Missy...
For those of you that have seen Doctor Who.
Okay.
Like this uncultured swine.
All right. And so you have Missy, and we'll call her... we'll call her Missy Brinkley, for the heck of it.
Missy Brinkley.
Yeah.
Why...
we're running with it. It's the first name that popped into my head that would work as the last name.
Then.
Okay, we're just going. All right. So you fall in love with the great Missy Brinkley, and you propose to her, and she says yes. And you're so happy, and you're going in for the marriage license, and you're going in to change the name, and you get in there, and you're like, oh yeah, this is my beautiful fiance, Missy Brinkley, and she's going to become the next great
wife. She would be my wife at this point.
Right. Okay. Well, this shows how much I know about it.
Change the name after. You change the name after you get married.
Clearly, I have so much experience in this area.
You have to show your marriage license.
Okay, so you go in, you do this, and you're like, this is now going to be the future Missy Masters. And she goes, no. And you're like, oh, what? And she goes, I'm keeping my name.
Okay. And? I don't care if you keep your name.
See, I have a problem with this.
Does not bother me one bit.
I have a huge problem with this. This is a terrible example. Another classic movie. The remake is horrible, but the classic one is pretty good. Have you ever heard of a movie called Yours, Mine, and Ours?
Yes. I don't know that I've seen it, but I've heard of it.
There's a remake with like Dennis Quaid and somebody I don't remember. The original one is Henry Fonda and Lucille Ball. Very solid movie and very well done and great pacing, very funny, but also has a lot of heart in it, and it really just it does a great job of what it's doing.
Oh, yes, I have seen the new one, not the original.
Oh, you should see the original. It is so much better. But with this,
Yeah, so
there's a big like one of the
movies.
big yeah.
Movies like this
Mm-hmm.
can actually count towards state mandated training for foster parents.
Really?
Yep.
Like
There are specific movies that deal with the topics of adoption and large families and stuff like that count towards state mandated training.
wait.
For
The remake counts for that?
Yep.
The remake is terrible. Holy crap.
I'm sure the original counts as well.
I mean, like the remake, that clearly falls into training territory because you don't want to be there. It's not in like why would that is clearly training right there. You are banging your head against the walls. You're trying to get.
I like that movie very much.
Ugh.
Mostly because I was attracted to the older female in the movie. That's a different point.
The mom or Liz or Hillary Duff?
No, not Hillary Duff. The other one.
Because I was attracted to Hillary Duff.
She's also in Daniela Panabaker.
No idea.
She's also in Flash.
Oh,
as,
I think I mixed my movies. I think Hillary Duff was in Cheaper by the Dozen, the remake. Again, a remake.
She is Killer Frost. That's what they have her listed here on Google, but that's not her name. Gosh, I have not seen The Flash in forever. Cannot remember. Caitlin Snow.
Caitlin Snow.
She's Caitlin Snow in The Flash. She is the sidekick Vine Lady in Sky High. She's in a bunch of shows.
What's her name again?
Daniela Panabaker.
Okay, the Danielle Panabaker. All right. Okay. She's kind of got like that Emma Stone kind of thing going on. A little bit. At least in the picture first on her IMDb page.
What's that supposed to
Emma Stone has kind of a very distinctive look. And I kind of like Emma Stone's very distinctive look in general. Not creepy, I promise. Anyway,
It's just because she's a.
actually she's blonde. The redhead is a bottle. She dyed her hair for.
Sad day.
I know. I was devastated. I'm like, yes, finally found it. And then it's like, oh yeah, she's a blonde. I'm like,
I like Emma Stone as well.
yeah, I like her better as a redhead. Yeah, in the Amazing Spider-Man, that's her natural color. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'm sweating in my own house.
I'm sweating in my own house too. Get used to it. Anyway, so yeah, the original Yours, Mine, and Ours from 1968. Where was I going with this?
I actually have a thing for Kristen Stewart, but that's a whole other.
Oh, I don't get that at all.
I've been attracted to her since Catch That Kid.
Yeah, I guess everybody kind of has their own thing, and that is definitely not mine. This is the wrong page. What am I looking for? Darn it, Masters! I can't remember what I was looking this movie up for.
I don't remember either because as soon as you mentioned it, I took it a different direction.
Yeah, I was talking about Yours, Mine, and Ours. Paul Henry Fonda, Van Johnson. Oh, what? What was the point of of talking about this movie? You're talking about.
You were saying that the original was. You were talking about something about speaking of originals being better, and then you mentioned this movie.
No, it was.
And
I was going for this one in particular, because we were talking about
Meet the Robinsons.
Meet the Robinsons, and heartfelt moments.
Name
Name changing. That's what it was. Because that's like a major contention point in this one where I think it may be also in the remake, but I don't remember that one nearly as well because it's just not as memorable. But
I don't remember it either.
But this one is a major contention point where they're like, "Hey, we are going to be changing names. We're like, Dad is going to be, Frank Beardsley is going to be, adopting all the North children because that's the two last names, and it's like a huge, huge, huge deal. And they're like, well, you're asking us to like give up our father and this, that, and the other, and it's like a huge deal. And it's a really, really great contention point for this film, and it really drives home some of those. I can see how this one would be a great analogy or like one portrayal of what it might be like to actually adopt people to adopt a child, because it really does a great job of portraying those unexpected conflicts that are going to come up. That being said,
yeah, I am a firm believer that in cases like that assuming the child is of cognizant age, they should have some say in what their name is going to be.
That's fair. I believe it. I agree with that totally, which is kind of why I was shocked to hear that you could just be like, hey, I got a baby and I named it, Fred, or just like...
I named it Princess Consuelo Banana Hammock.
It's like... Exactly. Like...
Hello, my name is Crapbag. That's it. That's my full name. Crap. Mm-hmm. First name Crap, last name Bag.
Or...
reference.
Or like latrine.
The same reference I've been making all night.
I know, I got you. Like latrine in Robin Hood Men in Types. Latrine is a very unique name. Yeah, we changed it in the last century. Oh? You mean you changed it to latrine? Yeah, it used to be a word I'm not going to say. Yeah. One of those things. But like when it comes, here's my mentality on it. If I'm going to marry a girl, that means I am, and again, I'm very, very, I'm not family focused, as it were, because if I was, I would probably already be married to somebody. But I have a lot of family pride. I'm very proud of the family that I am a part of. I am very proud of the history that I know that my family has. I'm very proud of the things that my family has accomplished over the years. And given the right time and opportunity, or just the time, right opportunity, not really notwithstanding, I can relate a great number of those same family stories and accomplishments and things to anyone who will give a listening ear. And so
not really an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my so about 10 years ago, one of my great uncles or something put together a family history book with everything that he could gather about our family and stories that he could gather from family members.
Yep.
And because it had to have been word of mouth.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how accurate the story is, but my greatest story from that book, and I actually have it in an email somewhere, is the story of like my great-great-great-great-grandfather in the Civil War, however many greats that is, was a cook for the Confederate Army. And he was cooking dinner one night for the soldiers, and they were attacked.
Yeah.
And he took a cannonball to the stomach.
Uh-huh.
His guts spilled out everywhere.
Yeah.
He picked his guts back up, stuffed them back in, and continued cooking until he died.
Okay. Like in the middle of the battle, the most important thing to him was cooking.
That was his job.
Okay. You know what? Also, thank you now for getting us canceled because you admitted you had a father or an ancestor who was part of the Confederacy. Well, we're off YouTube now. Come on.
Oh.
Well, it could be worse. None of my ancestors fought in the Civil War at all. At the time, one of them.
If it makes it any better, I also have family members that fought on the Union side.
Mm.
So there's that.
Yeah, the only ancestor that I'm aware of at that time, I'm sure there was more who probably were engaged with it at some point, but like the direct lineage from, me to my father and my grandfather going back was the man we call Alexander the First, although there may have actually been another Alexander the First before him, so he would have been Alexander the Second. But Alexander, who had to live long enough for photography to be invented, so we actually have his picture. He was trying to be a railroad baron at the time, and that didn't work out so well for him. But he was not concerned at all about the war. He's like, can I use this to my advantage to ship supplies back and forth? As long as I don't blow up my railroad spur, will be great. And kind of a dastardly fellow in his own right. But he didn't fight, But what I'm saying is, like, I like my history, and so if I'm going to marry a girl, I am inviting her to be a part of that family history, and I would like her to take the symbol of that, which would be my last name. I think that is a very reasonable and rational thing. I mean, I understand most of my family history is pretty dark and twisted, so you really have to get the right person, but to accept all that baggage. But it's generally my perspective that if I am going to invite you into something which I am supremely proud of and supremely, I enjoy that aspect of myself, accepting my name ought to be like the least amount of, adherence to that or appreciation for that, a sign of appreciation, of mutual appreciation from the woman. Is that too much to ask?
Probably.
I heard there was you work with the people who are there. Whatever your job is, you work with the people who are there, and you generally are not going to agree with most people on just about anything. And there was one girl who worked there for about 6 months who was about to get married, and that's why she ended up leaving, because she got married and she didn't need us anymore. And she was adamant. And she was adamant that I am not taking his last name. And I'm like, well, why are you marrying him? What? And we got into it about this a couple times because she was, and not that I really cared about their particular thing, but I mean the concept of it is like, in particular, like I was talking about with like yours, mine, and ours, the perpetuity of that name that goes on into future generations is how we realize we connect with the people who have come before. I'll never forget, I went to the Renaissance Fair a couple years ago, and I went into the kilt tent because I'm Scottish and I'm always looking to see if I can find my tartan, and I can get pretty
Scottish too.
And do you know your tartan, your clan?
I do not. I'm mostly Irish.
You should find that out. It could be we could go to a Highland Games.
I only have a little bit of Scottish in me.
Yeah, just wear a black.
It's mostly Irish.
Just wear a black watch kilt. Everyone will just think you're trying to be cool.
In fact, apparently I have a lineage of kings of Ireland in my family.
So we'd be fighting then. Like, I can name a good number of my older Scottish ancestors. In fact, it was really cool because there's a movie that came out on Netflix which portrays the Scottish ancestor that I have, from which our whole clan branched off and was named for, which is super cool. But with that, after that particular occurrence, again, family of ne'er-do-wells and bad people, my clan was almost completely wiped out like 6 times. So there's not that many of us around, and the kilt making shops they don't carry our stuff. There's
Okay, I found the document with my ancestry information,
okay,
and apparently I embellished a little bit
okay,
of the story.
okay,
It's been a long while since I. So it says specifically, he was killed in the Civil War, which he fought between April 12th, 1961, and April 9th, 1965. He lived in Tennessee and was a cook in the service. Their camp was attacked, and he was hit in the stomach by a piece of cannon scrap metal, and his insides fell out into his hand.
okay. Embellishment is okay. And it actually says that he wasn't hit by the cannonball, but like one of their own cannons blew up because it's a cannon scrap metal. They
were attacked.
Yeah.
And he was hit by a piece of cannon scrap metal.
Yeah. Cannon scrap metal is they loaded that cannon up a little bit too spicy and it blew up and shrapnel goes everywhere. You get your own guys. Which was a noted thing that happened. And actually, if you ever get to Gettysburg, they actually have some of those cannons still in Gettysburg, with that cracked from getting a little bit too spicy with the powder. But as I was saying, what was I saying? Scottish. Oh yeah, they do not weave my clan's tartan unless you can prove that you're the one buying it and that you have direct bloodline relations to that clan, which I can do. I just don't have the documentation for it like readily available. I have to go and actually get it from my grandmother again before I can do that.
I'll probably do that before she.
Yeah, I know.
Says goodbye.
Yeah, I know. There's a couple ways I can do that, but
I have a lot of regrets in life. One of my biggest regrets is not talking to my great grandmother about her life and her family.
I'm going to come back to that because I'm almost done with this story. I'm almost there. But anyway, so I'm in this kilt shop looking for my tartan. I can't find it because they don't carry it. And this other lady comes in and she says, "Hey, I'm from this clan, yada yada yada, and I'm looking to see if you have my tartan." He says, "I've never heard of that before." And she gets all offended and she's like, "Well, clearly blah 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 blah, and we have this story and that story and blah." He says, "Well, we can look it up and nothing comes up." And she goes, "Well, I don't understand how it could possibly be out because this is my family and this is blah blah blah." And he goes, "Well, I can tell you exactly how it happened." And she looks at him all askance. She's like, "What do you mean? You can tell me exactly how that happens and you don't know who my clan is?" He says, Well, the way things work is that your clan either didn't kill enough people or they didn't have enough babies or both." And she was totally offended, which was great. And that's the thing. When you get to the point where we are now, if you still have an active family name, that family name is an example that you made it to this point. Your ancestors fought through everything, like the stuff that we can't even possibly imagine as being an issue in terms of just basic survival. Our ancestors went through all that crap and they were able to continue that on up until today. So to find someone who doesn't, and and you're trying to carry on that great lineage, and they're like, "No, I don't want to have that on me." I find that personally very off-putting. Yeah, I find that personally to be very, very off-putting. Not someone that I would pursue at that point. That's kind of a deal breaker, if you will. Now, what was the thing you were saying? Because I want to go back to that.
Oh, I said that one of my greatest regrets in life is not speaking to my great grandmother about her family before she died.
Yes, now I recall.
Or I should say before she went senile.
Yeah.
But
so,
of course, I was in my teens when she started degrading. So
your appreciation at that time is not necessarily what it
Exactly.
really ought to be. Um, in fact, at that point, you're just annoyed beyond compare to your own parents. You're like, we have to go over to great grandma's house
No, I
again.
loved going to
Oh,
her house.
oh, okay,
I just was very annoyed when she would yell at me to get out off the stairs.
okay.
She had a 2-story house, and the upstairs there was a very very tiny stairwell that went upstairs to 2 bedrooms that were basically in the attic. And I like to run up the stairs and then sit on them, and was carpeted, and so if you sat at the right angle, you would just boop, 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 all the way down,
Yeah,
and she would yell at me.
okay. I
But oh my goodness, she could cook.
mm-hmm.
Oh, hmm.
The days gone by, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
This is what I was trying to get to. Um, I have a friend that I is part of one of my Bible studies, and he is 90. He'll be 96 this year, and I've known him long enough that for his 90th birthday, he invited me and a couple other guys to be at his 90th birthday, and his family did one of the best, smartest, most sweet, heartfelt things imaginable for his birthday. And I have recommended this to so many people, and every single one of them has gone, no, I don't want to do that for other people, because it's just genius what they did. They took this 90-year-old man up into the room, and they put him on a little bit of a podium or a little platform area, sat him down because he's 90 years old, in a room with like 120 people, 90 of which all looked like him. If you get where I'm saying that. um, and so he's sitting up there, and they hand him a microphone, and his great grandson, who was in his 40s, sat up there and said, "Okay, Grandpa, we're going to have a conversation." And for 3 hours, they just asked him questions about his life, his experiences, what his favorite things were, and he just told story after story, and it made him feel really, really important because everybody was there to hear his story, and it really did a fantastic job of conveying that history and that richness of his life to everybody in attendance. I heard stories that I would never in a million years have even thought to ask questions about, just by being privileged enough to be in that room. And I recommend this to everyone. If you have an aging parent or grandparent who's getting up there and you're not sure how much longer you have with them, set something like this up. You get them in a room, you hand them a microphone, and you find someone who can think up a couple of decent questions to ask them, like, hey, what was it like living through the Great Depression? What was it like living through World War II? What was it like living through this? What did you do when you met, your wife? How did this work out? Did you have any regrets? And just let them answer those questions as long-winded as they want to be. It does wonders for appreciating the life and being able to carry on that tradition going forward, because we don't take the time to listen like we used to. And that is just that is still like one of the greatest memories I have of the last decade, sitting in there and just being fed from the genuine wisdom of years. It was great. Unfiltered, just raw.
So one of my favorite stories from my grandfather, who's still alive, is about how I want to say it was the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
I want to say he was in the army just before the Vietnam War hit, and his what are they called? I want to say term limit, but that's
his tour.
His tour. Yes, his tour was up. He never actually went overseas.
Okay.
But his tour was up. The very next week, his platoon was shipped out to, I want to say Vietnam. That could be incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them made it back.
Wow.
I was 1 week away from never existing.
Wow. uh say, given family history, there were you can look up my clan on Wikipedia if you want to. It's the Black Douglas Scottish clan. And on Wikipedia, it will mention that I think there's 3 separate times in history where either the Scottish or the English king invited my family in through duplicity to remove us as a thorn in his side. And were it not for like one illegitimate child who didn't get invited because of their illegitimate nature, my entire family would have been completely wiped off the map like 3 times, because he got all the people. And then there's like one guy who, slept around with a maid or something, and they weren't really, nobody was really supposed to know about that, because you weren't supposed to know about that. Now all of you do. And had it not been for, someone playing fast and loose with the help, I guess, I wouldn't be here. Some people might think that would be better, but yeah, that's a thing. It's kind of terrifying when you stop and think about how close you may have come multiple points to just not being at all.
Sorry, I have a family tree that I have been working on for years.
Yes.
On a free website called Family Search that works with Ancestry.com.
Yeah.
To provide records.
Uh-huh.
And so they have a deal with Ancestry.com that they help curate records for Ancestry.com as long as they are allowed to use the records themselves for their website. The only caveat being that they can't access records on people that are still alive.
Okay.
Whereas Ancestry.com can.
Okay.
And it's called Family Search. It's run by Mormons.
Uh-huh. Oh.
That's important to people.
I can tell you why that's important to people when you're done.
Yeah. Oh, I know why.
You do?
Yeah. Well, I know the reasoning. I know you may have a different reasoning for it. Anyways, so I've been working on this for a while, and I was going back through since I found this document, and that's why we're sitting here talking about it.
Okay.
I found it has generations of my family, and it got down to my great grandmother's paternal grandparents. They have no record of her father's parents.
Uh-huh.
I do.
Huh.
I have information on her father's parents. I also have information on their parents. My records go back, because I'm using this internet database, my records go back further than this book that I now have.
Very nice.
I just found that interesting.
So since you brought up the Mormon ancestry thing, what is the reason that you know?
Basically because of their faith.
Uh-huh.
They believe how they believe that they can retroactively save people.
Yes.
And so they make databases like this so that they can trace back their lineage to retroactively have them indoctrinated into the Mormon Church so that their souls can be saved.
Yes and no. Like that is the basic gist of it. Yes, but it actually goes.
That was the top layer information that I was given from some of the Mormons that told me about this website that I used to work with. That their mom is actually one of the curators of this website.
There's an extra layer of depth to this, which is at the one time it's kind of creepy, but it's also kind of funny. So their belief entails that those who are saved do not necessarily go to heaven. men are the only ones who are really able to attain their version of salvation, first and foremost. They believe that Jesus was actually a saved person from another planet. And their version of salvation is that when you die and you are saved, you get put in charge of your own little planet, right?
Okay, this is new information for me.
Oh yes. And on your planet, you become God. And as a man, you get to have all your wives and all this everything. But because it's your planet, you can't just be like one person on your planet. You got to have other people. And so the people who come with you are the ones who are your family and things like this. And so they're collecting these databases full of people so that they can determine whether you have a genetic connection with any of the Mormons who are trying to become the next god of the next world. And if they connect that you are so I say I am related to Uncle Earl out there or something like that. I don't know. And he's Mormon, and they comes up and they call him up and say, Earl, we found you a new guy for your planet. Okay, great. I'll be in on Thursday. And on Thursday he goes down there and they have these baptismals set up so that they can baptize you or baptize them for you. And as long as they do that, as long as, they call your name over that guy getting baptized, he now has claim on you through the Mormon faith that you are now going to be a citizen on his planet when he gets saved and gets to become the god of that new world.
Interesting.
It's really weird stuff.
It is
I'm not
too weird.
I'm not particularly bothered by that. I'm going to be honest. I kind of want to sign up for one of these things, somehow or another, contact them, be like, hey, I'm doing all this kind of, I signed up, I kind of get what's going on in the background here. I just want to know if I connected with anybody in the Mormon church. Hopefully they would say yes. If they do, I say, great, understanding now that I've been baptized into your faith, can you please send me a set of underwear?
So this is so interesting.
Did you know that the Mormons have special underwear?
Oh, sorry, no, I've
totally not paying attention.
Nope, I'm engulfed in my own family history at the moment.
Gotcha. But yeah, I was saying, like, if the Mormons were to baptize me by proxy into their faith, I would like them to send me some underwear, since apparently I'm Mormon now. I think that would be a totally legitimate request. You are just kind of muttering to yourself, and I have no idea what the purpose of any of the muttering is. Could you please explain?
So maybe. I don't know. I'm still trying to connect the dots right now. I will let you know about my Alabama heritage here in a moment.
Okay.
That was a prelude to something that I think I just noticed.
I just realized something. We've gone almost 2 hours and 20 minutes without talking about D&D.
I know.
Can't believe it.
It's not a D&D podcast.
I know, but it's shocking because we always talk about D&D.
And you ruined the streak. Way to go, Gavi.
We haven't technically talked about it. We've talked about the fact that we haven't talked about it.
And that makes it better?
It qualifies that as not talking about it.
It's like when you do something obvious in a movie, but you call it out, it makes it less obvious. It's like the Muppets. How are we going to drive to Europe? Well, by map, of course.
That's just meta movie making.
Or like when what is that? There's this one movie where or a TV show where they're making a movie or TV show, and they do something, and somebody goes, "You can't do that. You were doing this just a few seconds ago in the same scene," and they were like, we'll have a character pointed out. It'll be fine.
That just sounds like the pitch meetings on Screen Rant.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it in an actual TV show / movie. I don't recall exactly which one because I'm not you, but
it's kind of like the scene in The Emperor's New Groove where Kuzco and Pacha break into Yzma's lab after escaping them because the lightning striking the flying rickshaw or whatever like that, and then like Yzma and Kronk are back there.
Wait, how did you get here before us?
I don't know. But we're here. Kronk's like, yeah, according to this, it just doesn't make any sense at all. Oh well, here we are. That is one of the best fourth wall breaks I've ever seen. It's
Was it you that I was talking about one time where we need a Marvel movie narrated by Deadpool in the form of Emperor's New Groove? Was that you that I talked about?
No.
Yes, I remember who it was then, but I need a Marvel movie that is in the style of Emperor's New Groove, narrated by Deadpool. I need that movie in my life.
We kind of already got that. We did, like, both.
Come out with Deadpool?
Yeah, like both of them were kind of.
No, I mean literally stop the movie.
Oh.
Deadpool walks on screen, grabs his expo marker, and is like, "This isn't right. Why is this guy holding this gun backwards?" You know.
Okay, I gotcha. That would be very. Hey, the next one coming out, supposedly. Oh, the director was the director or the producer? Somebody who's supposed to be working on Deadpool 3, like, just came out last week and was like, hey, I just want to let you all know that Disney's been saying that we're working on this, and I want you to be completely aware of the fact that nobody is working on this right now. And he probably got in a bunch of trouble for that. Because unless you tone it down dramatically, how do you actually include Deadpool in the MCU? I know it's a really cool idea, but I don't
tone up everything else.
You make the rest of the MCU R-rated?
Yep.
Well, they're kind of trending that way anyway. But I don't see that going very well. I
didn't say it would go well.
I mean, well, they have to.
This document is so confusing to try and figure out while I'm having a conversation with somebody.
They have to find a balance somehow between, just going straight full on, being like, we're gonna burn everything down and kill people and dismember them. Actually, I still find that funny that Disney maintains a no dismemberment thing. Like, you cannot dismember anyone or cut hands off or limbs off or fingers off or anything else in a Disney film of any kind.
Yeah, they own Star Wars and Marvel.
What has been cut off in a Marvel movie?
Deadpool has been chopped to pieces.
That was under Fox.
Yes, but before it's a Marvel movie, which is now owned by Disney. I didn't say that
Fox
I understand they didn't make it. However, they now own the material that they will not do.
But they cannot.
That is the point I was making.
But their rule does not apply to content that they did not have film rights for at the time of its making. But you're arguing against me, and you're wrong.
I'm not arguing against you. I was just pointing out a fallacy. Zoom out.
That is literally arguing against me. That is literally arguing against me. Yes, there are films of which they are currently the owners of that film. However, at the time that the film was made, it was not made under the guidelines of Disney filmmaking proper etiquette or whatever it is. So they cannot be held responsible for the things that Fox did or the things that that Lucasfilm did in times past. That being said, it'll be interesting to see how they go forward with that in terms of Deadpool, should they be able to include him properly in the MCU, because that has been like one of the main pieces of shtick he's had to contend with or to work with depending on your point of view.
Now I'm really confused.
In the last two movies, because in the first one he cuts off his hand, then he makes a very inappropriate joke. And then he cuts off his bottom half, and he makes an even more inappropriate joke. For a long time. It's very awkward. Just, yeah. I didn't need to see that. I don't think anyone needed to see that. I'm glad we didn't see as much of it as we probably could have had cooler heads not prevailed. Yeah. Funny films. Probably should not have admitted to seeing them. Come to think of it. But here we are. Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely just... Deadpool might be going a little bit far on a lot of stuff. Or a lot far on a couple things. One of those two. Or both. Or both. Have you figured out what you're doing yet?
No, I'm having to start at the top and work my way down.
This sounds like, no offense, Mr. Masters, but this sounds like something that is better done not in the middle of a podcast.
You would think so, but
I would definitely think so.
There is no rule to this podcast. We have no structure.
Well, we need to at least keep the we at least need the
two people talking. We are having a conversation. We're having a conversation right now
about the fact that that I'm not getting any feedback from you. You're just kind of sitting there going,
How often do I really give you feedback to begin with?
I at least get something. I'm not getting anything from you right now. You're like a wooden actor who's just standing there like
I'm like a wooden actor.
Yeah. They call it wooden acting. It might as well just replace the person with a dead post and have the other person emote at it for all the good it's doing.
Quite rude of you, actually.
I know. Like I said, it's been kind of a weird week. My tact has gone completely out the window. I kind of like it, actually. It's nice. Is this what old people feel when they just stop caring and just say whatever's on their mind?
Yes, that's exactly how my mother feels. When she turned 50, she said, "I'm 50 now. I can say what I want," and she does.
My dad did something like that, very similar. He walked into the house on his 50th birthday. He says, "Today is my 50th birthday. I'm officially now a grumpy old man." And boy, has he kept his word.
I was born a grumpy old man.
Not to this extent. Not to, air the family laundry, but 2 days before his 50th birthday was the last time he took me out and played ball with me. He became a grumpy, unsociable, unhappy, just unpleasant person on that day. And we all thought he was joking, but boy, were we wrong. Life. It's funny like that. And you're still reading stuff and not giving me anything. Even more so. Maybe. You're making us.
Okay, so the thing that's got me distracted right now is the fact that my father's mother's father and my father's father's mother both have the same last name.
Well, you are from Alabama.
That's why I alluded with, I will tell you my story of how I'm from Alabama here in a moment.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to find the connection, if there is a connection. Because previously I've noticed that and looked at it and thought, okay, so I can't find a connection. They must just be two separate Potter families that are linked way back in the past. But I can't, because one side goes back further than the other, I can't definitively say that. So I'm trying to, and I just found a list of Potters, and I have a Jesse Potter that is listed on my grandfather's side,
Mm-hmm.
That I know is correct, but my grandmother's great grandfather, no, my grandmother's grandfather, my
Mm-hmm.
great grandfather, my great great grandfather, uh, his name is also Jesse, but it's spelled differently, and the birth date is not correct. And so I'm wondering if I might have the wrong Jesse Potter, and that's the
Maybe.
connection. So um, that would make my grandparents second cousins
Mm-hmm.
once removed, if that is the case.
Yep. Bama.
I don't think it's the case though. I think it's just a common name.
Could
because
be.
I have because I have linked records. This is the only reason I believe this. I have linked records that this Jesse Potter that I have listed is married to the correct lady, who is also the mother and he the father of my great grandfather, who is my grandmother's dad. So I have record of these two being linked, but I'm wondering now if I don't know. I'll have to do this offline
Mm-hmm.
because I'm getting. You're right. I am getting way too distracted with this, and I could sit here and delve into this just as long and deeply as any other topic that we could ever discuss.
Mm-hmm. Family history is fascinating.
It is fascinating. Oh, I
Um,
closed you out so that I'm not distracted. Go away. Oh my goodness.
what?
Hold on one second. It is really daggum hot in this house.
Something remembered that, didn't you?
Yes, well, when my focus is not on other things, this is the things I focus on. Although, I will say I'm no longer hungry, so yay.
That's a good thing.
Um, well, it's because I went and down to breakfast shakes, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a different. So that was the thing that I'm gonna go see if the temperature's gotten even hotter or if I'm just hot.
Do we want to take a quick bio break, as you say, and we'll come back in the second here? Are you still here? I think.
I just ran away real quick. I'm back.
Okay. All right. All right.
It still says 80. I don't believe it.
That was a thing that happened to me on the golf course. Because we're playing golf and walk around, and like I would just hit this like dead spot of air where it wasn't moving at all, and all of a sudden it felt like the temperature just jumped like 20 degrees in one spot. I'm like, I cannot do this. Usually when that happens, it's like I need to not be in this right now.
Yeah. So I won't be sleeping tonight.
That's unfortunate.
I can barely I took a nap because I hadn't slept. Well, okay, so I got up. I didn't get up. I woke up Friday at about 8 o'clock my normal time,
Right.
9 o'clock your time,
Right.
because that was the time I was in.
Yep.
And then we did all the things on Friday, and then we decided to just go ahead and leave out Friday night and come home. It's a thing that we do. We leave early for vacation, and we leave early from vacation. Because our vacation wasn't supposed to start until last Saturday, and we left Thursday night. To get there, and then we weren't supposed to be coming home until today. So I would be getting home right about now, if we had left at the time that we were going to leave.
Right.
And so we left early, and I drove from about 9:30 till about 1:30, and I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore, so my sister took over, and I slept for about 2 hours in the car. And by sleep, I mean I had my eyes closed while she drove.
Yep.
And then I got up because she stopped 4 times. Well, I always want to exaggerate, and this number I only exaggerated by 1 for some reason, so it makes it sound more believable. But she physically stopped 3 more times while I was trying to take my sleep break. We stopped a total of 10 times last night on the way home.
Wow.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. When me and my sister drove back a couple of years ago, just the two of us, we stopped twice. And once was because we had to get gas.
Huh.
Yeah. But, when you have 5 kids under the age of 10.
Oh, that is the thing. Because I'm like, I stopped 5 times on the way back to Michigan.
Yeah.
And one of those was to stop at
Kuya's.
One of those was to stop at Kuya's. The other one was to stop at D-Mill. And that was it. And the rest of them was just like stopping for gas.
Yep.
I guess I technically stopped 6 times so I could drop you at the airport. But
yeah, technically. Technically. So I slept about 2 hours on the road. Then I got up, chugged a 5-hour energy, and drove the rest of the way to my parents' house with stops. And then I left my parents' house and came home, and I unpacked the essentials. My clothes, which are clean, are still packed in my bag. They're summer clothes, so I don't use summer clothes anymore since I became an adult. Because I don't go anywhere.
Right.
Except to work, and I can't wear shorts at work. Just stupid. Which actually during quarantine, I haven't put on shoes in like forever. So when I put on shoes this past week to go out, they rubbed my feet raw.
Yep.
So I haven't worn shoes in like 4 months.
Okay.
And I stay in pajamas all day. And by pajamas, I just mean a t-shirt and comfortable shorts or pants, depending on what I feel like that day.
Right.
And so, yeah, that got off topic real quick. Anyways, so I unpacked, and then I tried to go to sleep. I took a shower, and then I tried to go to sleep, but it was like really hot. It was like 77 degrees, and so I was trying to give the air conditioner time to cool down. And then finally I was just like, okay, I can't keep my eyes open anymore. And I went and laid down, and I set an alarm for 4 my time, because I assumed that would be about the time that you would be back from your golfing in case you wanted to do something.
Right.
Which you did. You wanted to sleep.
Yes.
It's fair.
Definitely did.
And so my alarm went off at 4, and I let it keep going. Well, at first I didn't realize it was an alarm. It was part of my dream. And I slowly came to the realization, oh, that's the alarm that I set. And so I got up, and I've just been up and miserable ever since. And so I've slept about 7 hours in the past 48. So not terrible.
I'm going to be honest. I got a little distracted when you said that you hadn't worn shoes in 4 months. And I'm going to apologize in advance, but I'm still going to send this to you. Did you ever watch watch over here a show called Dual Survival?
No.
Okay. They take 2 guys with like opposing viewpoints. It's
yes,
yeah.
I have. Yes, I have.
Okay.
I didn't know that was the name of it.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Did you encounter the guy named Cody Lundeen, who was the guy who hadn't worn shoes in 40 years?
Yep.
His feet are what came to mind when you said you hadn't worn shoes. Yep.
So, if I was telling my sister that if going barefoot was more socially accepted
Uh-huh.
in our world, I would never put on another pair of shoes.
I get that. I really do.
I absolutely hate wearing shoes. I hate wearing socks more than I hate wearing shoes, but I can't wear shoes without socks.
Yes. I agree. Like
Which is why I wear flip flops most of the time. But
I can't
bought
stand
these
those.
flip flops. I bought these flip flops a week before we went,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're not broken in yet, and so they rubbed my feet raw too. They're super comfortable though when they're not tearing my feet up. So eventually I'll get them broken in, and they will be super comfortable until my mother makes me throw them away because they're falling apart.
Yeah, I can't do flip-flops at all, ever. Nope, can't do it. Like, I'm a big guy, in case you hadn't noticed. And so...
You're not that big.
I'm big enough. And so I have a tendency that if I'm not careful, I can make a lot of noise when I'm just moving around. And so with that being the case, I try very hard to not make a lot of noise. Well, if you've ever been even within the rough vicinity of anyone who has worn flip-flops at any point in their life, you know that sound of every single step they take with flip-flops, and I cannot justify that sound to myself in making it.
Those people need to learn how to walk in flip flops. Is all I'm saying.
Every single person I have ever seen wear flip-flops makes
So
that
I made
sound.
that sound in Disney.
You did.
I hate those flip flops. They still hurt my feet.
They weren't as bad. Like the foam rubber ones are the worst, but like some of the other
That's
ones.
what those were. Those were.
Yeah.
But the ones I have now are leather.
Yeah, the lowest form of shoe that I will wear is I bought a pair of
Crocs.
Crocs. Yeah,
Really? You wear Crocs?
I have like the water shoe type one.
They're all water shoe type ones.
Okay, well it's
They're
like
Crocs.
it's like the extra water shoe type one. I don't know. I bought it because I was going to be going kayaking, and I have gone kayaking before and not worn a water shoe, and I had to throw those shoes out. Because
Did you ever buy into the toe shoes?
I thought about it. Like that's actually what I wanted when I bought the Crocs, but I couldn't find them anywhere.
So I had them.
Uh-huh.
I actually have no idea where they're at now.
Right.
They like vanished from my closet.
Your mother.
But I had a pair, and the thing about them is you have to get them. You have to get a perfect fit.
Yes.
Or they will drive you insane.
I figured as much.
And so I had to go and try on several pair to get the right fit. And then I found that they still will rub your feet raw in certain places, like between the toes and at the heel.
Right.
So I started wearing toe socks with them, which fixed that problem. But then it kind of defeats the purpose of having toe shoes.
I agree.
And so I just stopped wearing them.
Yeah, the Crocs I have are like that's the lowest form of shoe that I will wear. And there are not a lot of instances where I will wear them. Like if I'm going outside to grill or something, I'll throw them on because they're fast, they're easy, and I don't have to wear socks or anything, and it's a lot more breathable, which is a big thing for me. I like my feet to be able to breathe, and that's pleasant to me. And socks immediately cut that off. So, but there are just some instances where it's like I cannot wear a full shoe, and I can't go barefoot. I probably could have gone barefoot with the kayaking, but it was on a Michigan river, and there's stuff in Michigan rivers, not all of them, but enough of them, that you generally don't want to just stick your bare foot into there, which was also why I had to throw away the shoes, because I stuck it directly into some of the stuff that was in the Michigan River that you just don't want to put your foot into. Yeah, good times. Good times. Um, there was no saving those. They were just whatever you're imagining. Imagine it a little bit worse, and you're probably pretty close. Uh, Michigan rivers are not my friend. Rivers in general are not my friend.
I don't understand my AC right now.
It doesn't understand.
I literally just went and cut power to it, and it's still going.
That's not a good sign. Oh, what kind of AC is it? Is it like
crappy one? Apparently,
is it like central? Is it window? What is it?
Yeah, central AC.
Okay, because I just have a window unit in my room, and then there's other ones throughout the house because mobile home, and they didn't think we needed central here in this one. Apparently, they were wrong. They were very wrong.
Very wrong. Very wrong.
And so I just have this window unit here, and part of the issue that I had a couple weeks ago was that the filter got filled up or whatever and needed to be changed. And as soon as I changed or cleaned out the filter, it got a lot better. Like a lot better. So I was going to suggest that as a potential fix, but apparently that is not going to help you out, because if it's central air, it's probably going to be a more involved process than just popping the filter out, taking it over to the sink, and then washing it out. It's a plastic filter, not the full-on paper one that just, falls apart as soon as you get it a little bit wet.
This one is one of those that they're disposable and whatnot.
Right.
It's not the filter.
Okay.
This has been an ongoing issue for a little while now. I think the unit's going out, but they're, refusing to replace it. Classic apartment complex. So, in the winter, this past winter, the heat just stopped working, and it got down to like 52 degrees in here. And I could not figure out why I was so daggum cold until I went and looked at the thermostat and saw it was 52 degrees. And so I called them, because emailing them takes a while. So I called them and was like, hey, I'm going to die tonight if somebody doesn't get over here and fix my heater.
Yep.
And so they came out and fixed the heater. And it worked perfectly the rest of the winter. Then summer hit, and it got to where the AC, like the fans would come on, but it wouldn't get cold. And then sometimes it would sound like it would come on, and then it would immediately cut off, and it was like making weird noises and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was trying to come on, but then wouldn't. And so I called them out here, and they came out and changed out the thermostat, and that seemed to fix the issue of it not wanting to come on. And so it would come on, and then it felt fine for a while, and then like 2 days later, it stopped getting cold.
Right.
And so I called him out again, and they came out here, and he messed with it a little bit, and then he left, and he said, hey, I had to top off your Freon, but it should be good to go. You're blowing that cold air now. I was like, great. And it's worked fine since then. And then I left for a week and had it turned up to 78 since I wasn't going to be here. And I get back, and now it's not blowing out cold air anymore. So I think it has a Freon leak that they need to address and then fill it back up, which is what I put in the maintenance report. It's like, you guys have been out here to put Freon in it before, so, and it's not getting cold again, so obviously it's a Freon issue again, so there must be a leak. Come fix it before I die of heat exhaustion in my own home.
Uh-huh. No response?
Not yet. I didn't call him this time. I just sent it, because I mean it's not life threatening. Like wintertime, it gets too cold. That's pretty life-threatening. It's not going to get so hot in this.
Wait.
Yes?
You gotta back that one up.
Okay.
You're in
I live the South.
Alabama.
It's not going to be that cold. You are correct, sir.
like you can throw a blanket on. I have had this discussion
are correct, sir.
many times. Being cold is never really an issue because you can 99% of the time, always, especially in our great country of America, you can find something else to throw on top and you can be warmer.
Okay.
There's
Fair
a
enough.
limit
Fair
to how
enough.
much you can take off to become cooler.
Fair point.
Did you just take your pants off?
No.
Okay.
However,
I just heard this rustle and this shake. I'm like, he just took his pants off.
No, that was just I was readjusting in my seat.
Okay.
But I feel more of an urgency when the heat won't come on than I do if the AC doesn't work. Sure, I can handle the cold better than I can the heat, but I don't know, it's weird. I feel more comfortable the colder it is, but then if I know that it's going to get quote unquote infinitely colder, which it wouldn't, I live in Alabama.
Yes.
I feel like that's an emergency that needs to be fixed now. Whereas like the heat, I'm like, I can wait a day. As long as it gets fixed tomorrow, which it most likely will, it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, we've already gone over this. I have major issues with heat. I can warm up in a second. Like it takes nothing for me to just be hot.
Same.
But to be cool, it is an involved process to lower my temperature, or my internal temperature at least. And I'm just like, I am dying the entire experience. And it's like,
I may need to go take an ice bath and just sleep in my bathtub tonight.
that is a legitimate thing. I will say this, since we talked about being hot and then being cool and trying to find ways to be cool, and then about certain Scottish ancestry,
we'll never be cool.
That's true. But and this is like doubly going to double down on that. But that is one of the main reasons why I want a kilt, because wear that around the house, nobody sees, nobody cares. I'm cool, and kilts are a much more ventilated form of attire. Yeah, I embrace all aspects of my Scottish ancestry. At least I would like to.
Oh, we also watched Brave. That's not it's on the verge of becoming a classic. But my favorite scene in that movie is where they all get stuck on the top of the castle, and then they use their kilts to make a rope to get down. And then you see them walking off, and they're all butt naked from the waist down.
Yep.
Walking into the castle. It's like, they got that right.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a hair on any of their butts, by the way.
That is not accurate.
Smooth little baby bottoms.
Oh, you mean the kids?
No, the adults.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely incorrect. I'm like, wait a second, that's wrong. Or is it right? Yeah, that's definitely wrong. The adults definitely have some extra layers of insulation, and not the internal kind. Can speak from experience. A lot of it. A lot of it. Although technically, I'm still not entirely sure how this works out. Technically, body hair is supposed to help your body cool off.
Yes, that's why when I first started growing a beard, that was one of my biggest fears, was the summertime, because I absolutely hate being hot, and I thought, this is going to be miserable when I have a beard and I'm just hot. And then I started thinking about it. I used to have a head full of hair, and I never complained about how long my hair was when it was hot, other than it being in my face and sweaty.
Right.
It's like, and then the more you think about it, and the more you realize hair is an insulator.
Mm-hmm.
My face stays the same temperature year round, no matter what the weather is, because I have so much insulation on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I love it. Like right now, my face is the coolest part of my body.
This says a lot. No matter how you take that phrase. Oh, man. Yeah.
I really wish Discord had a timer for how long you've been in a call with somebody, like phones do.
I think it displays it at the end of a call. I'm not entirely certain, but I think that that's a thing.
I'm scrolling up to find out.
So am I.
Wow, it's been a long time since we've talked.
I know. I blame you for this. Was it the 4th?
It was the 4th. It lasted 4 hours.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not precise.
Now
but
people are going to be upset because that was not a 4-hour conversation that they got, let in on. Although, looking back on what we did on the 4th, I can absolutely understand why we did not carry on that conversation in a public format.
Yes.
Yeah, that definitely needs to just not be public information at all. Nope.
Yes, absolutely.
You all you all, ha ha, sass. You, it is sass. It probably doesn't actually, he probably wouldn't be shocked by anything that we might discuss otherwise, but it is, interesting that we do actually censor ourselves quite a bit in things that we just don't talk about on here.
Also, I think that as punishment, you should read the very long thing that you sent me, that you made me read all the way through to then realize that it was just a dad joke.
Oh,
I thought I was being given important information, and then I get to the end of it, and I'm like, really? Like I almost feel like I have been rickrolled after reading that.
Okay, so, that's fair. I stole this from a guy. He just told it to me the one time, and I stopped what I was doing and wrote it all out, and sent it to Monkey first, and then sent it to you. But this, I thought this was great. So, there was once a young high school fellow who had a girl that he wanted to take to prom. So immediately after class, he runs over to her and finds a long line of other guys all vying for her affections to take her. Never one to be dissuaded, he waited the duration on the faint hope that she just might say yes. Lo and behold, after all that waiting, he finally gets up to her and she accepts his invitation. Elation turned to panic as he realized he was now going to need to prepare for his date, and he rushed to the clothier to rent a tuxedo. Arriving at the
This kid has got some cash, by the way.
Arriving at the tuxedo shop, he discovers a long line waiting to similarly rent tuxes. Undeterred, he waited hours and was lucky enough to get the last tux in the shop. Thinking of his beautiful date, he realizes that she would need a corsage and hurried to the florist. Arriving at the florist, he again finds a similarly long line of young men waiting to get flowers for their girls. But through patient endurance, he was able to finally acquire the last corsage in the flower shop. Deciding his date was worth his very best, he also went to the candy store to buy a box of chocolates, but similarly found a long line of other young men also trying to sweeten up their ladies. After hours of waiting, though, he was able to get the very last box of chocolates in the place. Walking back to his car, he noticed a few rust stains and realized that he just couldn't ask his amazing date to ride in such a run-down vehicle. So off to the limo service he went, again to find a long line of young men all trying to rent limousines for their dates. And after even more hours of waiting in line, he was able to at last procure the final limousine available to take her to prom. Finally, the big day arrives, and he shows up in style, wowed her with his limo and tux, and drew great compliments from his choice of corsage, and even a little kiss. You know, theoretically. She doesn't know what's going on. And even a little kiss on the cheek, the box of chocolates. As they walked into the prom and took their seat, his lovely date looked up at him with wonder and affection in her sweet baby blue eyes and asked him if he would be so kind as to go and get her a drink. Ever the gentleman, he immediately agreed and headed to the drink table, where he found no punchline.
Insert the Rickroll. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
Oh. Monkey appreciated it. I can't help you.
I cannot believe you made me read through all of that.
I didn't make you do anything. I just sent it to you.
You sent it to me.
Yes,
I read everything you sent to me.
That's a. This just.
Yes.
Yeah, this just shows that you don't have the good decision making.
Well, we are friends, so there's that.
And then, since we're this far back, then there's also the video that I sent you of the guy making the survival stool. But that's inappropriate.
Yes. Yes. My word.
I send you a lot of stuff I probably shouldn't send to anybody. Like the distinction,
yes.
Yeah, like the distinction between guts and balls. That was an interesting one.
How did you like my little contribution to your meme folder? Please alert PETA.
Oh yeah.
I saw that when it just died.
That's just so wrong. And here's the thing: I don't even have a meme folder. I just encounter them, and I'm like, here we are. Should I save this for myself? Should I share it with others? And here's the thing, Masters. There are some I don't even share with you. Yeah. It's a problem. Memes are I would say they're good, clean fun, but they're not. Yeah.
They can be.
They can
get
be.
The right memes.
Mm-hmm.
But you go to that interesting area of Reddit.
I don't go to Reddit hardly at all.
Get your memes.
There's a Discord that is.
Wow. You just have a personal Discord for it. Got it.
No, it's not even my Discord. There's a.
I didn't say it was yours. I said it was a personal one.
It's not personal. It's there's a YouTube channel called the AK Guy, and it's his Discord, and there's a bunch of different channels with a bunch of different stuff on there, and I just kind of rotate through them all, and there's some quality stuff on there. It's also some stuff that should never be shared at all ever.
Quality stuff on there. Well, that seems like a nice segue to end this quality podcast.
That
you probably forgot we were doing.
Didn't forget. It was just like 7th in terms of things in my mind at the time. I will say this. I have had to use the restroom for the last 2 hours, and I was like, well, maybe we'll finish up soon. Nope.
You should never assume that with us.
You know, I was
just looking at the clock and going to be like, oh, we've been doing this for nearly 3 hours now.
No, we've been doing this for over 3 hours now.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You've got a bunch of stuff you got to cut out at the beginning.
No, I don't.
So you're going to leave all of that dead space in there?
What dead space?
There was a good 5 minutes where neither of us said anything while you were trying to fix something.
That was not recorded.
Well, then we haven't been going for 3 hours then.
Yes, we have.
No, we haven't, because I didn't even get on the call with you until 5 after 7 my time, and it's only 9 after 10.
You are sadly mistaken.
No.
Yes.
Because I was late.
I know,
Hashtag
but
late masters.
I recorded a small snippet. It was only like 30 seconds long, and then I imported that into my editing program to confirm that it was...
So there's 30 seconds in there without me.
No. So I recorded just a simple 30-second snippet. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Wow. I am in the wrong Discord. Delete. Wow, that really helped. What did you do? I posted that in the wrong Discord.
What Discord did you post it in?
The one with all the memes. I never said I was smart. At all, ever. Yeah.
I never claimed it for you either.
I know. You're not helping. But yeah.
I was here to help.
Clearly not. Clearly not. Yeah. Yeah. But it was,
I'm too hot to be emotionally supportive right now.
You're not emotionally supportive even when you are not that hot.
Also accurate.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've been going for over 3 hours. I think I have to cut out like 30 seconds maybe at the beginning, but that's it. Yeah.
Word.
So, anyway, I guess we can end off there. Thank you, Sass, for watching. We appreciate your kind attentiveness.
When I'm not going to say when, but if this channel, this podcast ever blows up and becomes this big thing, we're still going to do that. We're still going to end the podcast with "Thank you, Sass, our only viewer," and nobody else will get the joke unless they go back and watch or listen, I should say.
That's something that needs to be done at some point. YouTube needs to include like a favored viewer thing, so you can just automatically like give someone like better access, or automatically rank their comment or something higher, because Sass really does do a lot of engagement on these videos, which is number one, very appreciated. Number two, kind of shocking that he actually does watch them all the way through, and you can tell because he reacts to different things throughout the entire course of the video, and you're like, wow, I'm not bored enough to watch the whole thing. No.
Hey, me and Sass both watch it all the way through. Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
I'm part of it, and I still go back and listen to it.
I listen to part of it when I'm editing it. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, it's issues. I'll work on it. Anyway, yeah. Thank you, Sass, for watching. Thank you, anyone else who may or may not be here at this point. Totally understand if you're not. In fact, I would probably feel better about it if you weren't. Just saying. That being the case, if you are inclined, do feel free to subscribe. We'll be doing another one of these next week, probably. Provided Masters doesn't get overly upset when I tell him the other thing that I can't tell him on the podcast. But that's not for you guys to know about. And life will be good there. Maybe, possibly, probably. I hope.
Not sure I want you to tell me now.
We'll see how it goes. And yeah, well, if you have anything you'd like us to try and discuss or talk or reason out, just throw that in the comments down below, or you can join the Discord that is also linked down there. Follow me and him on Twitter, yada things and stuff and beautiful, I don't know what's going on. But, yeah. Thank you for watching. Masters, anything else to say?
Very hot.
There we are. This is the Heat Index Podcast. Thank you for enjoying. Thank you for being a part of this. We'll see you all next time. Goodbye.